Well, looky what we got here. Thursday, August 15th, Collider Live. Don't adjust your dial. I am Mark Reilly, not Christian Harloff. Christian Harloff is sick. He actually is sick. He called me this morning, and when he's sick, I can only assume it's the shits.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to me, too.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah,
That
totally.
always happens to you, Josh.
Yeah.
You're, like right now, but you're here.
So I got food poisoning on Tuesday, and it's been brutal for the last 36 hours.
So you have the shits, but you're here.
Yeah, I'm a little worried now. the proximity shits.
If I happen to just go like, "Ugh," and run out,
That's it.
You know what it is.
And with that, Josh Macuga back on the show. Welcome back. Having the shits.
I missed you guys.
My God, that was your 25th wedding of the year that you
was.
were on. You were on top of a mountain, Aspen, Colorado.
Yes,
You might
it
as well
was.
be Mexican. You go to so many weddings.
Speaking of Mexican, Dorina is here.
Hey, you'll float too.
Yeah, you'll
you
float
guys
too.
check out
I
my
love
hat.
that hat.
I love dairy. I got to go to the IT experience yesterday in Hollywood.
Great. I want to talk about that for sure. But coming back to the show, and he's going to be here for the whole time.
Very excited.
Coy Jandreau, how are you, my friend?
I did not go to the Ed experience. I'm very jealous. Nor do I have the shit, so I feel like it's a good balance.
You're
Right there in the middle.
You're batting 1,000 right now.
I honestly, this is.
hello.
Cody. What happened?
Suddenly.
We all. Oh my God.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
This is like
I feel like I'm underwater.
Me
This is-
too.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Yeah, first you mute our mics. Now you're
We're not
making
even
us
talking
deaf.
to Kardashians.
That was some very exciting stuff.
Something happened with your headphones. Just hold on.
Okay.
It sounds
okay.
fine to the audience.
It sounds
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
So they just saw us all freak out for nothing. All simultaneously just go, ugh.
Sorry for those listening at home that got the. Oh God. Oh,
It's getting. There's no snare in my headphones.
Oh,
I've got
it's
no
fine.
snare
So
in my
right. Oh
headphones.
nope. Yep. So
Technical difficulties.
so what's
here,
happening
you guys.
in our. What's happening in our ears is that the sound is going in and out, and it's making me. It feels like I just got out of a pool.
I'm just gonna go Vegas DJ and
Just
sort
Vegas
of.
What are you gonna
Oh, there
play?
we go.
Let's
Yeah,
know what it's
yeah.
like.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, everybody listening at home.
Yeah, Marky
'Cause
Mark's back.
If you are listening at home and not watching the video, well, that's what happened. We just had some audio things. But anyways, back to it. Dorina, tell us about the IT experience.
It was so fun. I really missed you guys, especially Josh Macuga. It's in Hollywood. I got to go to the first IT experience, which was
They call
basically
it
was
the
just
experience.
IT experience. But you should tell them. You should pitch that
Experience.
to them.
The
Experience.
experience.
Yeah.
But
But
it 3. Pitch it.
there you go.
Let's get rid of
There is
words
no
here and just put it all together.
God damn it.
There is no it 3.
No. He didn't know.
It's
we could
actually
do
at Josh's
something.
house.
He can fix this.
No, but it was really fun. It's basically you walk in and it's like a fun house, which is what you get to see in the movie. It's not a spoiler. Like if you drive,
it's in the trailer.
it's in the trailer. But they have like a Ferris wheel and a fun house that you go in, and each room is a haunted room. So little things happen. You get to go through like a mirror maze, and that freaked everyone out. I got to go with Perry, Haley, and Dorian and Frosty.
Okay.
And they were Dorian was losing his mind as always.
Well, yeah, when we did that escape room, Dorian actually tried to escape, like literally go through a wall that wasn't a door or anything, and then he jumped and almost fell off like that little ledge.
Right. Well, my favorite is like he actually he got so scared, and he'll probably post a video of it on the site or on Twitter.
Yeah.
But he got so scared that he was holding his camera phone, and some monster, scared him. He actually ended up like kind of like jumping from one corner of the room to the other corner of the room. Like I've never seen somebody like sprint so fast.
And he doesn't have good cardio, so that's just adrenaline.
But
Yeah, no,
he gets taken
he
out.
played
pretty easily.
basketball in high school, I believe. I
yes.
heard he was
You
pretty
saw the
good.
game
That's
3
what he
footage.
looked like.
Yes, yeah, I did.
He did
Yeah.
also vomit recently due to lack of cardio. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
both sides to Dorian when you look
But
at.
yeah,
Yes.
you couldn't have handled it, Josh.
No, I
I
know
think
that.
you would have left like halfway through the maze.
You know, the thing that worries me most about this conversation and what you're saying is how close this experience is to my actual home.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like it.
Well, you should drive by every day, and then you'll
I'm
like
good.
it.
A nice
Where-
big
where is it, on
clown
Cahuenga?
funhouse.
No, it's Vine in Hollywood.
Okay, so
Fine,
pretty-
yeah, it's close.
Close
Yeah.
to Cahuenga.
What if the house just keeps growing and it just keeps on like one day you like wake up and you go
But
on Sunset and it's just coming at you.
Yeah.
And it just keeps growing.
Or what if you can see it from your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Because the entrance is like a
Thanks,
giant clown face that you go into. It's really good.
Yeah, that's no. It's gonna be a no for me. Now
Drives an extra 20 minutes out of the way just to not
I'll
drive
get in
Hollywood
more
and Vine.
traffic to get past
I'll
Hollywood
take the
and Vine.
405 somehow, Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going home via Orange County.
We actually went through it twice because we loved it so much. So I really recommend
course
you
you
guys go. Yeah, no, if you guys can make it, it's so much fun. You can sign up online. I think it's just theexperience.com or something like that. So.
Great.
I going through twice. You guys are maniacs.
I did keep hearing your scream in my head though. Every time somebody jumped, I just heard
Yeah, just like that.
the Roger Rabbit thing. Yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good scream. You need a doll. Like there needs to be some way to access that.
You know
often.
what? Fucking Coy Jandreau. That is actually a pretty good merch idea.
The lighter merch, you
dude.
guys.
It's right
Yeah.
there. And pull string dolls not that expensive to
No.
manufacture. Great market.
Push or like a push button.
And
on
you
the
could have
thing.
like a Jeopardy shirt you put on. There's
It's
a lot here,
all
man.
all the different kind of sounds that you do
Yeah.
make. It's like,
yeah,
and then
It can be one of those dolls,
keychains.
and it could be one of those dolls that poops because you're always shitting.
Cody,
Yeah,
do it.
that's
So
true.
let's pretend
That could be the
that.
variant edition. It's just like
Let's pretend we
Macuga
have the
shits,
Josh-
wedding edition.
Let's pretend we have the Josh Macuga doll and use the sound effects, Cody. So that it's like if we press it. Okay, there's
Yeah.
one, and then we press it again. Okay, and we press it again. Perfect. That is
pretty
a
damn
top
good.
That's really
end
good.
selling
And then if you're
toy.
really scared, it poops its pants.
And yes, and holy shit, I just had deja vu.
Did you really?
That we were all
That's
doing.
so specific.
You were all here.
Oh.
That is so fucking weird.
It's a
Yeah.
very
Those
specific
two.
deja vu because I've
Right?
not sat
Your
here.
flow
No.
too.
There's a glitch in the matrix.
I don't think I even knew who you were when I had that deja vu. Like, I'm like, why am I on a show with this guy? I don't know who he is.
What the hell is deja vu?
Really?
Like when it happens to me, it is the weirdest feeling, and you're like, okay,
Right?
wait a minute, is this like parallel universe, like previous life, glitch in the matrix? What the hell is that? Thank you. It's coming up now.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Deja Vu Show, Girls North Hollywood Strip Club.
yeah, that's
helpful.
not the deja vu I'm talking about.
My hot take,
Yeah.
my weird ass Hunter S. Thompson hot take.
Do it, Coy. I love going down these rabbit holes with you.
When you take like an acid or mushroom and you see things with the multiple levels to them, so like when I look at leaves now, I don't see them as green. I see them as the way the light hits them in the shadow from the lack of light, right? Like
Okay.
there's a certain perception if you know enough hallucinogens, don't do drugs. But I
No.
think that what
Try them.
deja vu is
them
when
safely.
you see the reality that's just akin to yours, like that askew version of yours, and then your brain has to catch up. So it's your brain like rendering. So it's like a slight like we live here, it lives here, and your brain slips
It.
into that other track.
It isn't Pennywise lives in your brain.
It lives here. But I think it's you adjusting to the reality of it and your brain going like, do not like, and you kind of like live both, and then you have to assess which one you're gonna dive
But there
into.
are
then
so
why
many
do-
dreams I have that I really don't
Yeah.
want to deja vu.
But that's what I think. There's different slots of reality, and I think
okay.
sometimes like a race car, you slip into the wrong slot, and then you slide back, and your brain's going like, which one?
It's like a pinball machine that you have to shake because the ball is stuck.
Yeah,
you
like
ever-
the thing's stuck in the
Yeah.
machine, and you're like, I put 5 cents in.
I know.
Have
It's
you
like-
ever hung out?
20s.
Have you ever hung out
I
in
like this.
Colorado? Because you sound like a lot of the people I've met over the last couple of days.
I've yet, but I feel like they're my people.
Yes,
I
they
am going to
are.
Burning Man
Yes.
in 10 days.
Oh,
Those are my people.
Yes, they are.
So how was
very-
Aspen for you? It was your first time.
Yes.
I know Aspen very well. I love that town.
It's amazing.
So how was it for you?
Well, so we went to. I was telling Dorina before the camera started rolling. We spent 4 days in Aspen, 4 days, 4 nights, and then went to Vail for a couple days.
That's right, Vail. Never been to Vail though.
Vail is like.
I hear it's crazy beautiful.
Vail is really perfect if you like a town where there's no cars and it's like an old Swiss town and everything is like walking around and there's
Yeah.
this creek and like restaurants on the creek and stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's gorgeous.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
That's my
perfect.
favorite.
You know, take gondolas up. We did this hike. We did that little alpine slide in Vail, which was super fun. And there, we got on, and it said like 330-pound weight limit. My wife looks at the guy's like, "Just made it." And he looks at both of us. He's like an NFL.
fine.
He's like an NFL linebacker tried to get on here with his wife, and he fought us about it, and we let him go, and they were fine. And I was like, "All right, way to name drop Vail alpine slide." And also, thank you for the compliment. My wife really appreciates it. So we spent like 2 days in Vail. It was really nice. It was just the wife and I. But Aspen itself, we flew to Denver and then drove.
Yeah.
And that drive from Denver to Aspen is about 4 hours, 20 minutes or something like that.
Right. Go through Grand Junction
Yes,
and
yeah. And it
beautiful
is-
city there, Grand Junction. Not really.
Not much. But like that drive from Denver to Aspen is unbelievable.
Yeah.
How's the
And
flight to
there's
Denver? Like, is it 4 or 5 hours?
No,
2?
2
Oh,
hours
man, I
from
gotta
here.
travel.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is that the prettiest place you've been?
I think like that's a hard relative kind of a thing. I've been lucky enough to travel all over the place, and I'm more of like an ocean guy for sure. Like I love, like the Caribbean is unbelievable, or like some of the parts of Mexico that we've been. Amalfi Coast is ridiculous.
You've been to Cape Town?
South Africa,
yeah.
not.
South Africa's oceans is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the prettier, bluer.
I know this sounds like
sharks. There's sharks.
And there are
I'm
sharks.
not gonna
I
go
haven't
there,
done much of
then.
the States, but I've done lots of the world. So like I've never been north of Santa Barbara, but I've been to Cape Town and I've been to Tasmania.
I got to travel more, and he's like, have you been to Cape Town?
But the oceans there, I was like struck by the blue-looking fake.
Yeah.
Even while you're there, like a lot of
It looks
places
like
you
they
travel.
dyed it, right?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
look and you're like, I'll adjust, and then you never adjust. You're like,
Right.
that's not real.
Right.
That's one thing I really want to do before I die. I've never seen really pretty blue ocean, like where you can see clear. You know, like you can actually see it, like Hawaii or something like
Right.
that.
The best I've ever seen is Capri and Blue Grotto.
Oh, yeah.
The real Blue Grotto, where you go in, you have the line, and you go in the cave, and
Right.
then it is just sparkling blue, beautiful water. You jump in, it's the perfect temperature, and you're like, okay, this is heaven.
Is
This
it like
is
Blue
where-
Planet too?
It's like Blue Planet too.
Yeah, because that shit's beautiful and terrifying.
There are parts. First of all, this goes against my entire brand, but I do want to swim with sharks in a cage.
Ooh, okay.
In a cage.
Still,
What kind of
surprises
sharks?
me.
Great whites. I want to see them.
I would do this
Nope.
too.
Yeah.
And I got very, very close once. But then, for whatever reason, we just didn't go. It was that Mexico trip that you can go to.
yes.
Or no, not Mexico, but it's like you go to San Diego and then you go a little further south
Right.
and then you get on a boat and you go
Right.
Basically, Toto Santos, I think, is
something
where
like
we get
that.
around there.
But because I think I could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Oh,
man.
but
I'm scared of them. That's like my Pennywise, sharks and snakes. So people have been asking me, you should do it to face your fears. But I'm like, maybe for charity, but nothing. I don't know.
Am I scared of sharks? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
We all should be.
Right.
But are you scared like me, where you like they're scary looking? Like I just don't like the teeth, and
Yeah,
then
no.
the teeth have teeth within them, and I
Totally.
just don't understand. That's not normal.
Have you seen that
Yeah.
new video, that 33-footer they got like great footage of? That's literally
That was on-
Jaws.
yes,
it was like
on
the last
Shark
2
Week.
weeks. That was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
this it's like that's
And it
3
was-
stories of shark.
Yeah.
I heard it was and it wasn't a great white though. It was like it was a.
Mako?
No, it wasn't a Mako.
It was a violent type.
Was it?
Why
Somebody
are you
said it
putting
was-
photos of sharks on the screen, Alex?
Oh God! What is that one picture with
I
the
hate
hand
it.
there?
Oh, that's Photoshop.
No.
What is that? Click on that.
Oh yeah. It's,
Oh
it's
my
a-
God.
It's 100%.
Fuck that.
That's not
Man
normal
fights
though.
off real
It's
or
not.
fake.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's not.
normal, no.
Oh God.
See, I'm not looking.
Oh God.
But
okay.
that looks like a fake kind of guy.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
That guy fake.
I would like that's the thing is, but there's a lot of places actually close by that you can hit. Like Catalina has very clear water. You could get to Catalina no problem.
But I've been there and it wasn't that clear.
Really?
I'm talking like.
You want Caribbean
Yeah,
clear.
So
I've
real
never
clear.
seen that stuff.
You
yeah.
could go like there were definitely places on both sides of the Mexican. On the Mexican Sea or
Yeah.
whatever, like Pacific
there we
Ocean,
go.
Atlantic Ocean.
I agree with the shark.
Imagine
choice.
yourself laying on a
There you
lazy
go.
beach.
You could also go, like, you can
Drinking
fly to Florida and
Corona.
go to the Bahamas, no problem,
That's
or like
true.
Key Largo or anything like that. Those
Yeah.
waters are crystal clear.
I'm gonna do it before I
Yeah.
die. I hope.
Bora Bora.
But I
Or
think
Bora
Mark,
Bora.
why don't you do like radio voice or meditation? You can do that soft like KOST 103 or whatever.
Welcome to Coast 101.5
Yeah.
here on Collider Conversations. Today we're going to open up the phone lines and talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
Hey, Mark, this is Josh from Pittsburgh. I was just wondering if I could make a request. The love of my life and I just spent an incredible few days together, and I was wondering if you could play Wind Beneath My Wings. Thank you. I'll take your answer off air.
Wind Beneath My Wings for Josh and his love, Amanda. They're celebrating their 2nd anniversary, and I wish them the best. Here's Wind Beneath My Wings by Mr. Mister. Is that right? Is it Mr. Mister?
It's not
Who is
Mr.
it again?
Mister at all.
I have no idea.
Bette Midler.
It's Bette Midler.
I feel
Yeah.
like you're gonna take his answer off the air. Like you're not listening for the song. You're like yes or no.
Yeah.
Like I'll be waiting. Yes or no.
But
We
now I
send
want.
you the best. We send you
I'm
the
not
best.
gonna listen for it. I don't want to know.
Now I want Mr. Mister to do a cover of Wind Beneath My Wings.
and you've listened to this Coast 10, whatever it is. It is
103.5.
it is so damn funny.
It's
It's
amazing.
like when there's like, we're here tonight
Mm-hmm.
taking your calls, and John sends out his love to
Oh, yeah.
Dorina. Dorina, John wanted to say that he loved having you over the other night. That dinner really made his day, and that stuffed animal that you brought him, well, that filled his heart with love. So
Well,
here we
Mark.
are now.
Well, Mark, you can tell John to go fuck himself.
So Dorina says to you, John, go fuck yourself.
I I think that's the funny part about that whole thing is like, what if the guy or girl on the other end of that is like, oh, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's like, he won't leave me alone. He thought he'd call a radio station to do something romantic, and now he's sitting outside of my house. Right? Like,
Yes,
Say
because
anything
so
with
many.
a boombox in 2019.
Exactly. But so many people do, especially before, they would call and be like, this is a love song that I am like specifically want you to play for this person. And like they have no idea
None.
if the person wants. It's like when you would make a public proposal.
Yeah,
Right? And
right.
like you've seen those videos where they actually are like, no.
They're like, sorry.
Those are.
Or the kiss cam when they look and the girl's like,
Like human mating rituals are so weird. If you look at it, we're using someone else's talent to woo someone we like. That'd be like if a squirrel was like, "Yo, my hot friend," and they like bring over a better squirrel, and be like, "Hey, do you want to tell her I like
at
her?"
the nuts
because-"
this guy can
yeah,
store.
You know what I mean, like it's like using leverage
Big
from another
nuts with this
creature.
one. Yeah.
Look at the art they made. I like that art about
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. John
right.
wanted to tell you, Dorina, that he enjoyed watching you sleep last night. He stood there all night, breathing heavily, and now he's staying in your closet.
Well, Mark, I have no idea who John is, so now I am now going to burn my apartment and move.
In other
just-
news,
But thank you.
In
just
other news,
invested in
John was
formaldehyde.
arrested. John was arrested for stalking, and he sends out this love letter to you.
Oh shit!
I love
Mark.
this one too, or like it's. This one goes out to Karen in Santa Ana, who's missing her
Ana.
Richie. They've only been together 2 weeks, but she can tell this is gonna go on forever.
That is a
Nothing
big
like
one.
young love and the possibility of future. This one goes out. This is 24 karat magic Bruno Mars. No, okay.
And that happens. There's
I know.
those inevitably.
Yes.
It's like, I know you just started dating last week, but he wanted you to say, I love you.
Oh my
The
god!
best first date ever.
We
And
know
he decided.
he's a long haul trucker. And he's been gone 3.5 months, but you know, no matter where that truck is, the love is always in your hearts.
You guys are giving me the bad kind of deja vu.
See, we're back, and we're back.
Yeah.
So
What
here's
track was
Colin
your
Baton
life on?
Rouge for you here on Coast. What I can't do.
Yeah, just the best. It's so good.
Oh,
Wait,
my
so when
Lord.
did you like? So you've been to Aspen a bunch of times?
Yeah, I used to go with my family every year
Oh.
growing up. Like when I was young, it was
Skiing.
like really. Yeah, we would go skiing.
Okay.
So it was Mom. So
Oh,
Mom
nice,
and,
nice.
and Frank, my
Yeah.
grandparents. Lucky enough to have a condo out there, and they would take the entire family, and we would go in January. We would have a week there. We would walk around. We'd
Yeah.
go skiing.
Are you good?
Good at skiing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
cool.
good.
I
Pretty
never
damn
learned
good,
any of
actually.
the snow sports.
Amanda and I got in this very funny argument. So we were hiking, and you know, obviously in the summertime there's no snow, but they still have the signs up that say like black diamond,
Yeah.
Oh,
green,
yeah.
green
Yeah.
circle, blue square, whatever, double black diamond.
Yep.
And I was like, oh babe, there's your green circle, you'll be fine, because she skied like twice, she doesn't do it. And I was like, so you take the green circle, I'll just take the black diamond, I'll meet you at the bottom. She goes, you can't do a black diamond, and I was like, yeah, I can. She's like, no, you can't. I know you can't. You can't do it. I was like, you've never seen me ski. She's like, I don't care. I know you're lying.
She's like, I know enough about you.
Yeah, I was like, babe, I can definitely
Did
do a
you
black
do it?
diamond. No, I mean, because there's no snow, so I can't
Oh,
really do
okay,
it. But
okay.
yeah, of
Run
course.
down the
Like,
hill.
I used to like
Really?
professionally snowboard. I used to
I
like
didn't know that.
I used to be a very, very good skier.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ski all the time
Right.
because I really love it, but I just like Amanda doesn't do it. I don't have a lot of friends that do it.
Yeah.
Our closest mountain is 2.5 hours away. I don't want to get trapped on a mountain like with snow. I mean,
Dude,
when
let's
do
go
I have the
skiing.
time to do it?
I know, but let's go skiing.
I would love to.
I have
Can you
like
guys
I haven't
teach me?
skied in years, but when I go, it's like getting on it's like riding a bicycle for me at
Right,
least.
right.
You have to
It
get your
comes
sea
back.
legs on, it
Yeah.
comes back pretty quick, and then you're off and running.
There are two things that I will never do as far as teaching somebody.
Right.
I will
Oh.
never teach somebody how to ski, and I
Right.
will never teach somebody how to play golf. It's just I don't have the skill set or the patience to want to
Right.
do that. Like I could teach you how to swim all day long because that's a pretty
I
easy
don't know
thing.
how to swim either,
And-
like properly.
Okay.
I can doggy paddle. That's it.
What?
I can doggy paddle. That's it.
Same.
Like I would
Like, I
drown
can stay
quickly.
afloat
yeah.
for, like, a
And I
little bit.
sink. I don't have that like get calm thing. I just
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I just like inevitably start to.
Yeah.
And I'm dense.
And then you realize it's like a 3 feet. Pool.
yeah. And then it's like I put my foot down. I'm like, oh tight.
It's like Roka falling off the ledge. It's like,
Yeah.
put your feet down in the ocean.
It'll be okay.
You'll be fine.
Dude, Josh, I'm with you though. Like when you know how to maybe ski and you're
Yeah.
with somebody that doesn't, it can be a little frustrating. But I mean, it's like I would do it with Julie. She's never skied, and I would probably spend a day with her. But I remember in high school, one of my buddies was trying to date this girl. And he's like, let's go skiing.
Did he call the radio station?
He called the radio station. I know you've only been dating a week, but he loves you. No, but we went up to the mountain skiing. There was 4 of us, and it was like the girl's friend, which I wasn't really like going after. It was just like, okay, yeah, let's go skiing. And my friend couldn't have looked worse for this girl because he kept falling. Like he would literally get up and fall. He would get up and fall. And then it was me and the 2 girls waiting for him, like 20 minutes each run, and he would get up and fall.
Aww.
And I felt so bad for him, but at the same point, I was so damn frustrated. I was like,
you can't do your thing.
and they all could ski, so we would just go, all right, Jeff, you good? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you down there. Oh, he fell. We're going to be down there in the lodge.
Sandra wants to send out her love to Jeff. He can't ski, but it doesn't matter to her because at the end of the day, there's always a lodge. And the lodge has drinks. And in your heart, we know you want to ski better, but in actuality, you're terrible.
And he kept trying.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Jeff, we know you're still on the mountain right now, and it's been a week later, and so here's Frozen's Let It Go.
I was gonna say. I was literally thinking that.
Here's Mr. Mister's
or
Kyrie.
here's Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow.
Yeah, exactly. We hope you make it off the mountains and that the wolves didn't get you.
Yeah.
What was
What
your
did Roxy
favorite?
just say?
What was that?
What's your favorite thing?
Oh,
On a mountain.
Yeah.
On a mountain.
I was waiting for the whole thing,
That's
but
it.
it's
That's all
just
you get.
we're just getting the mountain.
I love
favorite weird place
being
traveled.
Drunk on a mountain.
Yeah, in a hot tub.
Yeah.
There it is.
Weirdest place I've ever traveled. There was this. So our train stopped in the middle of nowhere in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And like you figure you can kind of smoke pot wherever you want to in the Netherlands. And
you
so
don't
we
remember
got
what
off,
town?
I think. It was a while ago, but we got in. The town was just like kind of empty, and the only really like there was like one bar and one little restaurant and a weed store.
Nice.
And this train, it was like a 2.5 hour delay. The train like broke down or something. We got off, and there was maybe 30 people on this train. We all got off, all got high in this like lonely, sleepy like Dutch town. And we went to the little cafe, got food, went to the bar, got drunk, and we were all so high, and we felt like zombies walking around this post-apocalyptic town. It was like 8 people working. I was like, where is everybody? I legit said, where is everybody? And the guy was like, I don't know what you mean.
This is my life.
Were they Danish instead of Dutch?
Yes, they were Danish. Yes, I don't know what you mean. This is our town. I live here, and we all thought the same thing. We get back in the train. It was like there was bodies buried under that town, 100% buried under that town. It was like this like this sleepy little creek running by, and there was nobody. It was awesome. Like tumbleweeds down Main Street. It was
That's
crazy.
great. It's like Snowpiercer.
Yes,
At night,
totally.
they steal the children and they
Yes.
sacrifice them to the
Yeah.
gods of that
Yeah.
small town.
Is that an It thing that you're referencing?
I don't know. It could be any kind of
Okay.
horror
Well,
movie.
You'll
Sure.
find out when you watch It Chapter
Yeah.
2.
Well, wait. Okay, so
A preview.
I got all kinds of like tweets and or emails from people being like, "Hey, I got invited to this It screening. Are you going to go? The only reason I want to go is if you're going." And I wanted to text everybody else and be like, "Is this it?" Because
Is this it?
I'm not going
Right.
to go twice.
No.
Man, you
So
should
the
just
move
have a
is to-
Josh Macuga exclusive
the move
Collider
is you
screening.
have a screening,
Yeah.
and you invite people like at a Tuesday at like after that, like 3
No.
p.m.
Should I just have Coy
Go
be my
across-
manager?
Yes.
Like, at this
You go
point,
across AMC 16. You set a date. You invite. You
That's
do
what
an
we're
He's
gonna
already
do.
got you merch.
I got
like,
you.
yeah.
I got a theater
doll?
scheme.
Yeah.
Charge an extra $1 for
My
the screen experience.
goodness.
I think we talked about it, but for that screening, no. But we're going to do a screening with you and then
Okay.
lobby up.
Because then you call it the Macuga experience, and it's a branding deal, and that way you're not stealing the.
You look
the
so
thunder.
nervous right now.
Yeah, the sweat slowly looks like tears, just
Yeah.
like the fear is real.
Oh, it's going to
Georgie.
happen.
That's
It's gonna
my
happen.
my doll that Coy is creating with an overseas manufacturer. Apparently, it will
love
have a
it.
it will have a sweat option. But like as the It experience goes on and on, I get sweaty.
The
and
armpits
further.
get like
Yeah.
wet.
I should not have worn red today.
It was so funny when you were talking about the doll. I thought about, are you watching the 90210 remake?
No, but I saw
reboot,
headlines
whatever
today.
it is?
Strangeness.
No.
I
The
saw a
Strangeness,
headline
are you guys
today.
watching?
No,
Yeah.
because
What
I
is it?
didn't
It
watch
dropped
the original.
40% from the first
It dropped.
week.
Oh shit!
Yeah, in
It's
ratings.
not good.
Is it good?
So no.
It's interesting.
That was a long pause.
I'm a because
Were you guys huge fans of the
I
original?
was a huge
Really?
fan. I was a huge fan of 90210, so I was really excited for this. But it's this weird meta thing that they're doing where it's not rebooting the characters, it's they're playing themselves trying to reboot 90210.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's interesting, but you're not getting the characters that you know, but they're all playing against their characters that they were on 90210. So Jason Priestley is a gigantic prick.
Right.
He wants to be he is a director, and so he wants to direct, and he wants to like build it into his deal that I'll come back for the reboot if I get to direct. But then he was directing something, and somebody was a dick to him, and he like punched him, and then
So is it supposed to be like drama
Like a
or comedy?
heightened reality.
heightened reality,
Okay.
yeah, and then and so
Is it funny?
no,
Oh, that's weird because.
it's weird.
Because have you
it's
guys
just
seen?
uncomfortable.
Have you
Yeah.
guys seen Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23? I love that show.
I didn't see it,
So
no.
if it's canceled now, unfortunately, but it's
It had 2 seasons.
yeah,
right?
but it's one of those
great.
shows that not a lot of people know about. That's really good. It's
Jessica
really funny
Jones.
with Kristen Ritter,
Yeah.
and James Vanderbeek's in it, and he plays himself, but he plays like a douchebag version of himself,
And
and
this
it's
is what's
really funny.
hysterical.
He's so good at it.
Yeah.
It's
This
the
is what it
NPH
is.
approach, like the Harold and Kumar brought NPH back,
Right.
and playing like him at 11. And the show is like all of them at 11, but they're playing. It's their names, and they're doing like alternate reality takes
Oh, yeah.
of
Right.
their reality,
Totally,
which is very interesting
Yeah.
way to come back
This
from
is-
something.
It's kind of it, and then but the thing is, they're starting to weave in some like 90210 cliche stuff. Like there's all of a sudden they cut to and there's this like weird guy standing back and he's like stalking all of them, and he's
Okay.
like getting ready to stalk them.
I'm
And so
so
the reason I
confused
don't know if I'm going to spoil it because. Well, who's watching 90210? Do you want me to spoil the ending?
Do
Go
it.
ahead. Wait, is it only 2 episodes?
Well, it's 6 episodes.
Okay.
Do it.
So at the end, like everybody gets a spoilers if you're like a diehard 90210 fan,
And are on episode
and you
5.
haven't seen episode 2 of the reboot.
I'm pretty sure the people that aren't have already tuned out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, they're talking
Oh,
90210?
Cody's muted us by now.
yeah.
But at the end, they all get like dolls of themselves with like pins in them, cut up, like heads off, and like scaring all of them. And it's like, ooh, dun dun dun. But I'm
Is
like,
Dorina in this show?
I know.
I was like, should I start watching it? Am I in it?
It's so weird. I just
don't
I
know.
don't know how to take it yet because
I don't have
I
time.
loved the original 90210. It kind of was like it hit me right at the sweet spot. So
Yeah.
I grew up with 90210. But this is like I don't know if this is gonna last. So when I hear 40% drop,
Yeah. It
Yikes.
was a big 40% drop.
All right, well.
Have you ever made a voodoo doll of somebody? That's an
Just
honest
you.
question.
yeah,
Oh,
this
just
is a
me.
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went
Why
there.
do you think you had food poisoning last night?
It was Tuesday night, so your doll is 24 hours
There you
delayed.
go.
But it's still
It
working.
It took some time, but here we are.
Dorina
you
sends
what.
her love to Josh tonight. She poisoned him, but out of love. So here's Mr.
Kyrie.
I just keep
Mr.
going to
Mister
Mr.
all the time. This is Mr.
Yeah.
Mister Radio with the hits of Mr. Mister.
We play 2 songs and call it a day.
Mr. and
Josh, we
Mr.
need to go to a concert, like a yacht rock concert
Yeah.
together. I love that stuff.
Oh, I want to go with.
Let's all go.
Ya
Let's do
Rock? What's
that.
Ya Rock?
Yacht rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yacht. I
Yacht
was like,
rock.
is there a
Sorry,
new genre
that-
of rock?
No, so
Did I
the,
miss
so
rock?
the Y's are hard for me because I like say yacht or yes. Like
Got it.
sometimes like if
Kiss.
I'm drinking, I'll be like yub instead of job.
When
Like,
I get drunk,
Yup.
my Boston comes out, and like
yeah?
Kaz and Pox happen.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
very quick and aggressive. So I'll be just talking like a person, and all of a sudden I sound like
Yeah.
a fucking Mick from Southie, and everyone's like, "What just? Who is with us suddenly?"
Coy, get over here.
And I've got nerve damage on the
Course.
side from boxing, so when I'm really
Jesus.
drunk, it just shudders.
Oh wow.
It's not. It's not.
And
a
you're like,
wink,
"Why are
it
you
literally
winking
is
at
like-
me, Coy?"
It just turns off. Like it's like an eye.
It's like,
filter.
uh-oh, Coy's drunk.
My buddy,
Hammond.
we called him Captain Jack Sparrow, okay? Because in college, and like he lived with me at the beach, he would do the same thing. He'd be like walking around, like, Macuga, is my eye closed? I'm like, it's closed, Corey. His name's not Coy, it's Corey, so it's pretty damn close.
We get
That's
along.
funny.
His-
well,
like-
see, he should have just done the Adrian.
It was the best. Like, he'd like be walking around, and he was like a bigger dude, so he would kind of like stumble around. And the one time we were at a bar, and I was waiting in line to get inside the bar, and he was already in the bar. And he comes out, he goes, one eye closed, "Hey, Cooks, if you see my shoes in there, pick them up." Just walked home.
Dude, everybody has
people.
that friend, right?
Yeah.
I had a friend in high school that would just, and through college, that he would just get so freaking hammered that by the end of the night, it's like 2 or 3 a.m. It's like, oh, we all got to go. And he's just like, still standing there.
Yeah.
Just like a
hitting
toddler.
on a girl, trying, and like, we always said, it's like he just would wear them down. He would
Yeah.
just hang out with this girl
I
all
think you're
night.
in a room with one.
Yeah, and he would just be like, hey. So
Married.
So
Married.
what?
Got her.
What are you doing later? And you're just like, dude, Steve, move over here. Go sit down.
We were. I
But
was on
that's
my.
so sad because like some, especially people aren't actually being aggressive or angry.
yeah,
but,
and
like,
he
drunk.
wasn't- he
It's just
wasn't-
like they're like, oh, I'm drunk, so now I'm brave enough to come
Yeah.
up to a woman and talk to them. So, but it's sad because they're like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, because his big, pickup line was like, "So what are you doing later?"
Yeah.
And you're like, that.
Casanova.
And sometimes it would work. I'm like, we never understood. It's like, Steve, yep, he went home with her.
This
one Maybe he goes was nice out about to it.
Jennifer from She loves him, he loves her, and they met at a bar.
Steve
This
wanted
is
to
Tub
say-
Thumping by Chumbawamba because he gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You are never going to keep him down.
Steve wanted to say he really
He had a whiskey drink. He had a lava drink.
He had a vodka
lava
drink.
A lager drink.
He
A
drinks
lager
the
drink.
songs that remind him of the good times.
So
He
here's
drinks the songs
Mr.
that remind him of
Mister.
the better times.
Kyrie mixed with Tub Thumping.
Mr. Mister's cover of Tub Thumping.
Tub Thumping.
I don't know, Mr. Mister. There's a lot of nonsense
Yeah.
with that name. But
Okay, so I was on my study abroad, and
Where?
In Italy. We were in Rome, and they had this thing. It was a bar tour, right? And you started at the Colosseum, and you made your way all the way down to Campo de Fiori, which it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
So we had some really good friends from the University of Wisconsin, and a bunch of their girlfriends came over to visit. And the one friend was like, she's like, one of these girls is going to make out with you. I was like, awesome. This is the greatest news of all time. Like, starting my night off hot.
Yeah.
Like prego.
And I look, and the one, it was totally clear by the first 5 minutes which one it was going to be. But then I proceeded to get really blacked out. Like, I mean, blacked out. But she still was like all about it. My buddy the next day was like, dude, she was making out with a corpse. Like, you were just. And she was just kissing your dead body. And I was like, sounds awesome.
Oh my God.
And this was before cell phone videos. But he's like, dude, he had pictures on his disposable camera. Of me just like in a corner at a bar and just getting like.
Maybe she thought you were narcoleptic and she was just trying to be nice.
It's possible.
People love Weekend at Bernie's, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say. And the reboot of Weekend at Bernie's starring Josh Macuga.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, when I do get really intoxicated, I can Weekend at Bernie's really well. It's just like
Yeah.
I think everyone needs that phase because if you don't go through it hard, you stretch it out over your whole life.
Totally.
Like from 14 to 20, I got alcohol poisoning like twice a week.
Yeah,
So now I
that
don't drink
happens.
that much.
Yeah.
Like I got it out of my system and now I'm better. Like 151 doesn't enter my house anymore.
Yeah, no,
but it used
oh,
to be like a
God.
frequent friend of mine and now I don't need it. Like I had my
we
time.
used to call it was the grain train.
Yeah.
Used to just fill up a Gatorade bottle full of Kool-Aid mix and grain alcohol and ice. And you didn't taste the grain alcohol. And then you were like, had a couple glasses of the grain train, went out to the bar and then flap. And you were just like,
That's so weird that why though?
This is how one lives.
Why you guys mix the weirdest crap? Because when I moved to the
Okay.
States, I
Okay,
literally
horchata,
no,
take it easy.
horchata is amazing.
Is it?
It's amazing.
It's
not
milk.
not weird. They can be amazing
It's
and
not
still weird.
Kool-Aid or Gatorade with. It's like I used to the first party I went to in the U.S. was a college party, and there was a giant trash can.
Was Mr. Mister playing?
No.
Damn it.
Well, I gave up
I'm
on this
out.
story.
But
Yeah.
there was a trash can, like a giant trash can,
yeah.
just full of this weird liquid
Jungle juice.
Yeah, and
That's the move.
I'm not gonna eat that. Why would I eat that? Like we just have
You drink
my
it.
people. We just have beer and tequila or mezcal. Like that's
God bless you.
You guys
Do
are weird.
you ever do homemade Four Locos?
Oh yeah, the
Homemade
best.
Four Locos is like you accelerate the jungle juice when you add like some caffeine pills and some like Adderall to like 151, a 12er, a Coors Light, a 3 Bacardis, 1 vodka. Like
Yep.
you just all the booze that's left plus like accelerants.
Kids, earmuffs.
I come on the show one time and I
Come
tell
on
them
the
my
show one time.
secrets.
It's like, I learned from Coy that I can get real drunk. We can
Don't
now-
do it. It's unsafe.
Mommy, can I have some jungle juice?
I know, mommy.
The
What's
opposite of
Adderall?
Weekend at Bernie's.
We called it Ecto Cooler, basically like
Oh boy.
after
Like a Ghostbusters
Yeah,
thing?
after
Dude, that's that
That's
high
awesome.
C.
the high
isn't
C
it?
can, yeah, the high C juice box. But then when they discontinued Ecto Cooler, we're like, well, we need to make homemade
That's
Ecto Cooler.
what Four Loko came about.
Yes.
Because now Four Loko doesn't even have caffeine in it, so
No,
it's
which
just
is the
bad
worst.
tasting.
But
We
now
used
they have
to-
that weird like White Claw crap
No,
going
so
on.
everybody's trying to get on the seltzer train, right? So
Yeah.
now Natty
Four-
Light has a
there's a Four
seltzer.
Loko seltzer.
Four
It's
Four Loko
14%
stuff?
alcohol seltzer.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
100% my birthday.
Let's get
Like, I'm
loud.
definitely making that life choice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I do want to tease later on at 11:30. We're going to have Grace Hancock and
Yay.
Alicia Gaynor on.
Yay.
They're promoting We Have Lives, their new podcast. Which have you listened to it, John?
I did.
It's
I did.
freaking hysterical.
It is.
Those
I
guys,
love them.
I love them to death. I'm so glad that they're going to be on. That's going to be at the 11:30 hour, and then we do have a lot of news to get to, as well as CBS and Viacom officially did a merger thing. So everybody's pairing up now or combining forces, and they're going to launch their own streaming service. But what does this mean for like some of their properties like Mission Impossible and Star Trek? Because there's some news on that, which we will get to. But I want to, especially for Dorina, I want you to see this video. Talk about nonsense.
Okay.
And we haven't done one of these random videos in a while. So Cody, can you bring up that hilarious Avengers Endgame? This is the. Did you see this?
Is that Thanos dancing to Banda?
Yes. Did you see
Love
this?
that. The commercial thing?
The commercial.
Oh, yeah,
This
love
is
it.
a real commercial,
So
allegedly a real commercial from Mexico for a Mexican restaurant. And I freaking love it.
Is it actually real?
Watch. Yeah.
Inevitable.
Yeah. Oop. No. Whoop. This is just the greatest. But wait, it gets.
This is incredible.
I've never laughed so hard in my life at this. It is so dumb.
How quick did Disney discontinue this?
I have
Okay,
no idea.
How many people have been sued?
This is ridiculous.
He's dancing on
Thanos
food.
is dancing on tacos.
That's great.
For
I
those
love it.
listening at
It's
home,
fantastic.
those
Tacos
listening
de
at home
Thanos.
who haven't seen this, there's a commercial that blends Avengers Endgame with a real Mexican restaurant and their tacos, and there's dancing Thanos, and you can get these tacos, and he's showing his butt.
What does
And it
tacos
is a-
sabrosos mean?
Delicious tacos.
Ah.
But
Delicious
Good
tacos.
and he's dancing to a banda version of the Alan Silvestri theme, which
that's
is
right.
really good.
It's really
what's
It
good.
is a good cover.
That kind of music is called bando?
Banda.
Banda.
Yeah.
So-
or like there's different versions like ranchero, norteño, but it's basically like people think it's Mexican polka.
Yes,
is
correct.
what they call it.
Yep.
But it's so fun to dance to. So I
Well-
can't and that's the thing when music like that comes out, I can't like not shake my
It's just
shoulders.
like-
It's like a natural thing.
So
Yeah.
the first restaurant I worked at outside of like Pittsburgh and New Jersey was in New York City, right? And so everybody in the kitchen was some form of a Latin person, right? Honduran, Ecuadorian, Mexican, whatever. And when they were
You
cleaning,
made it sound like increments, like something weird.
some
Some form.
it's one of these formations that have come out of Latin America. And they were like the coolest dudes. And when the restaurant was closing and they were cleaning the kitchen or doing whatever, they started playing that music. And I was like, why do you guys listen to the same song every night?
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not the same song. I was like, it is. Okay, I know it's the same song. I get it. And they're like, no, it's not. Let us play another one for you. So they played like 3 songs in a row. I was like, guys, this is the same song.
This is
over and
12
over again.
minutes of and
But
song.
they're all like, but then by like my 3rd month in there, I knew when the music played that like the restaurant was closing, so I'd go in there and dance with them and
And
like
it's
help
so
clean the
fun,
kitchen.
right? Isn't it way better to work to that music?
100%.
Yeah.
My favorite part though was downstairs. It was a 2-story restaurant. Downstairs in the restaurant was the pastry kitchen, and there was also these huge sinks where they washed all the pots, right? And we called this one guy, I forget his real name, but we called him El Gallo Negro, which I'm guessing is the Black Rooster.
Correct.
Something like that, right?
Yes.
And
Good job.
he was legit like 5 feet tall, maybe small, like 4'9". He was tiny dude, and he was awesome. And I go down there in the one night, and it's like, because the bar would stay open later in the restaurant, and he's down in the giant sink taking a shower, and listening to that music, dancing in the sink, and I was like, I think that's illegal. I think
That's every health code violation in one act.
I'm not going to mess with El Gallo Negro because I call him that for a reason.
Exactly.
I'm not going to mess with him.
He's like, do you have a problem?
Yeah.
Do
Can
you have a problem?
somebody do a mix of arroz con pollo to Thanos dancing? Because I would love that.
That would be amazing.
What does he say?
and you guys, this
What?
is hysterical that they've been playing this over and over in the background. I've just been watching Thanos dance on tacos.
It's so pixelated, but still looks so delicious.
Oh yeah, it's like
What's your
somebody
question,
recorded the video,
video of the
on a
thing.
TV.
But that's
yeah.
how good this food looks. Even like a 16-bit hot take.
Yeah.
I want that. For like salsa and beer in the valley, I can like smell food from afar, and it causes all these memories. And now Thanos is.
What does he say though when he does the snap? Like what is it?
Well, Thanos said inevitable. Which just
So
means
I am
inevitable.
inevitable.
Yeah.
And then
but
the other guy said tacos are inevitable.
I don't know what he said actually.
Okay.
Can you go back to that, Cody, real quick? Let's see.
I just know behind it says algo delicioso, which is something.
Yo soy la que sabrosa.
Yo soy taco sabroso.
Maybe Taki Sabroso, which is like
Takis?
like Taki. I don't know if he mixed up like taco with delicious, like or merged the two words.
So he's basically saying, I am delicious tacos.
Maybe, yeah. I guess that's what he meant.
Interesting. I like it.
I believe him.
Taki Sabroso. Maybe that's the company name. I don't know.
Thanos does seem like a kind of guy that would enjoy a taco out there on
Totally.
his island.
He wouldn't snap the fingers on my people. He'd be like, "Oh, I'll just eat tacos with you guys."
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to save them because of your delicious tacos.
Yeah.
So
You just feed him al
sense.
pastor with some little pineapple,
And
and then
dance
you're
to
set.
that sweet, sweet music that I think is just the same song
You
over
just have
and
a
over
party
again.
in the sink, and you don't snap anyone.
But
Didn't
like,
like this.
trap beats and a lot of the mumble rap, same beat.
Me too.
Like
Same
there's
thing.
like modern hip hop is
Oh.
very polarized, and there's either really excellent stuff right now, and like there's a lot of why is this the same?
Right,
And I
exactly.
think it's just like the
Well,
accountability.
like
of
most
music.
genres of music,
Yeah.
right? Like so, like '90s hip hop, same kind of way. There was
Yeah.
this brilliant stuff, and then a lot that sounded very similar. Same as glam rock, right? Some of it was just outstanding, and some of it just was the
No
same.
good, yeah.
You know, you had the grunge rock. You had Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Chris Cornell, and all that
And
kind
then
of stuff.
80
and
other bands that sounded the
just-
same that were trying to
just
like the
complaining.
Migos came out, and then everyone wanted to sound like the Migos, but now everyone's trying to sound like the bands that sounded like the Migos. So
Correct.
it's like, okay, we get it,
Right.
and I think that's probably how these sounds get so all
Totally.
encompassing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap out there, but you gotta search. Like every genre has good music. Even like I'm not a huge fan of reggaeton. Like I just don't, like I think most of it does sound the same, but there's a couple there
was,
that I like.
was reggaeton made in the Spanish language? Is that why you pronounce it like that? Or was
It's actually from Puerto Rico.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But like Sean Paul's awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple of
the
songs that I
highlights are
like, right?
yeah,
Like,
like
but
when-
there's some that I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's the same beat over and over
There
again.
are certain reggaeton songs that they have played forever, and every time I hear it, it takes me back to like
Oh,
the
100%.
You know?
Like going to the beach in like 2006.
Yes!
Like you remember a very certain
Yes!
moment. Yeah, you're like, oh, remember that time in 06 when I had
Yes!
that pizza at Christie's in Hampton? Yes, I
Yes!
do.
You
And it's
guys-
from a song.
Yes, it was called the bar.
I think Coy's meant
were
to
at the
manage
same
Josh.
bar.
Yeah.
Coy has gotten through to Josh.
Yeah.
because
Holy
You
shit!
just
is-
sold
The bar
your-
was called La Costa.
This is a breakthrough here.
It's in Sea Isle City, New Jersey, and every time I hear that one Sean Paul song, I'm like, take me back to La Costa.
I hear-
Dollar Miller Lights, baby.
I hear even
Deja
in
vu,
a
baby.
commercial, I hear Shauna Paul, and I think of M Street in Hampton Beach, Christie's Pizza, and it's a hot, like I can smell it, I can taste
There you
it. It's
go.
a full experience.
I know it.
Shauna Paul,
I know-
tall
Shauna
takes.
Paul.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
beautiful
awesome.
thing.
That was amazing, guys.
We had a moment.
Watching that.
2006 is a good time for
Great.
Sean
It
Paul.
was a great year.
And I love that
Yeah.
there's still Thanos with
I was
tacos
gonna
up
say
there.
there's so many good memes.
But I want to switch to some news because we're going to talk some news here because there is some big stuff that actually dropped. One, I just noticed that Toy Story 4 has now crossed $1 billion.
Jesus.
Wow.
Well,
So
well,
Disney.
I'm happy for them because
Yeah,
they're so,
no. I
They're,
love
they're,
Toy
they're
Story
so
4.
poor, right?
It's just Disney is just monopolizing everything, and
yeah, just give us some of the money. Just give the little people some of the money.
And here's the thing that's happening now is that we've been talking about this, the Fox deal and Fox not knowing, and Coy, I bet you've been talking about this on Heroes. Like, the New Mutants, we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
New Mutants, Disney, Fox, there was a merger call and all these, or merger call, there was a call, earnings call, and they're talking about it, and they're like, we're unimpressed with New Mutants. And it was like, no shit. So it's like.
That's why it hasn't
Yeah,
No,
it's
but
like,
do you
you mean
think-
the movie that was dated for 2015?
But do you think it's bad, or do you think they just don't like that it's horror?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I like that the word unimpressed was used.
Yes,
It's sort
yeah.
of
Such
like,
a backhanded insult. Like we're
It
unimpressed.
sounds like I just presented my report card to my father.
so
it's like, I'm
not mad,
unimpressed.
I'm disappointed.
And you're like, that's worse than being mad. You're like,
Somebody
shit.
make a video of Mickey Mouse saying, "I'm
I
disappointed."
know, he's like, I'm unimpressed. So,
it's just a C+. Like
so they're
I
like,
could do better.
it's like
Your sister got
so
an
what's your friend like? He's nice. No, what's he look like? He's a really nice
he's
guy.
really funny too.
he's so interesting.
He's such a really
So, but
nice,
this is-
interesting person.
It's really interesting for it. I don't know why it occurred to me now, but Toy Story 4 now crossing $1 billion joins Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, Aladdin, The Lion King. So they've had 5 $1 billion movies in 1 year. That's incredible.
And they've had one $3 billion
Yeah.
movie.
What are they doing?
And won $3 billion.
What are they
They're
doing
at
to,
$8
with all
billion.
that money other than giving executives a ton of the money?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. What they're doing is they're looking at Fox going, you're not pulling your weight around here. If you want If you want to get in good with us, you need to figure something out with your movies.
Currently, we are unimpressed.
Currently, we are very unimpressed.
That's the new-
And it's like Bob Iger's like, very disappointed.
And they're using that to fund their next round of live action reboots. They're just like $200 million made is like, let's greenlight that and greenlight. I saw like it was a fake news story that got super viral. Someone was like, they're going to do a live action The Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah.
And like
Dude.
people believed it, and I was like, we shouldn't accept this reality. Like,
I-
go watch Sherlock Holmes
No.
because that's the live action.
Hey,
Great Mouse
the original Great Mouse Detective is amazing.
Well, it's not a bad
course.
thing, but it's an animated Sherlock
Yes.
Holmes film with
Yes, it
mice.
is.
A
Yes, it
live
is.
action take on that movie is a movie that exists 10
Right.
times over. So, like, what do you make
Because
it?
they would probably, I bet you one day they'll like come up with CG mice. I know that's so. I don't
I
understand.
hope they call
Go
it
back to
CG
that.
mice instead of CGI. Like CG mice.
CG mice.
Go back to that graphic you just had up there. Sorry, Cody. Go back
It was
to that.
the box office listing.
Yes.
Dude, is there a way to look at studio losses? Like,
Well-
because I'm curious as to like, okay, these are like they're very successful movies, but like, how much money have they've actually lost? Like, I can't imagine.
Disney?
Yeah.
So they lost what I heard was about 153 million write down because of Dark Phoenix and some of the Fox properties, as well as some disappointing sales on Disneyland. So did you hear about that? There was
because people thought Star Wars Land was gonna bring folks this
Right.
summer, right? And
Yeah.
it's not as crowded as they thought. Well, if it wasn't so freaking expensive, maybe people would go more.
Is it
I don't-
$200 a day?
What?
Is it like $200 a day? How much is this?
It used to be like 40 when I was a
it's
kid.
like, I know it's over 100 because I can't afford it.
Yeah, I
not
think
going.
there's a lot of, and Bob Iger's kind of spinning it. Maybe not. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I mean, I personally didn't want to go to Galaxy's Edge because I don't want to spend all that money. I
Right.
don't want to spend all that money to go for parking, for the ticket to get in the park, and then you're like, if you show up hungry, well, you're gonna have to shell out
park-
another $100 for a pretzel. So
Should we
park
get,
is
should we
not
get
for
Dad's
us.
opinion on whether or not you should go to Galaxy's Edge?
yeah, I can ask that for sure.
Mark
but-
Reilly rants.
The parks
Yeah.
are not for us, though. The parks are not for us.
The most calm rant. Like, I just feel like it's not in my budget, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can spend $100.
I'm-
Mark
go.
Reilly
I'm
hates
just-
pretzels.
Didn't want to go.
Mark Reilly is unimpressed.
I'm unimpressed with Galaxy's Edge. But, we had on Rule of Two, we had Haley Fouch on who
Right.
talked about going. And she's like, listen, I love Star Wars. I loved Galaxy's Edge. But it's
Was
like,
free.
everything that you want to do that's kind of the Star Wars experience requires money. You have to go in to pay for whatever it is in the cantina. If you
Right.
want the lightsaber, you have to shell out money.
And everything is super overpriced.
And everything's already super priced, and then you only have one ride, and they haven't done the other ride
Mm-hmm.
yet. So I think that I personally believe that some people were like, "Ooh, Galaxy's Edge open, I'm not going near
Right.
Disneyland."
Yeah.
And I think that traveled
Same,
around, and people were like, "Okay," and so maybe that's it.
I
Or-
definitely thought that.
or people are just like, you know what, I'm skipping it this year, or whatever it may be. I know there's some people and articles out there that's like, oh, Star Wars is failing. I don't necessarily believe that. I think it's just there is we live in a world where Disneyland is a fucking expensive venture to do.
Yes.
And I
Also-
think that
And that's like for one person. Like most people would have
one
families,
person.
like
Exactly.
bringing two
No
kids and
wonder
parents.
that family got into a fight a few weeks back and it went
Oh my
viral.
God.
I'd be fighting people too.
Also, crazy thought, Disney. There's $8 billion you've made, which all these people spend that money already.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they might be out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, if you're taking a family of 5 to the movies, that's $80 to $100.
Yeah.
Well,
so how do you then? I just can't.
So here's the thing. First of all, Disneyland is not for us, right? It's
How dare you?
But that's the thing.
well,
is
I'm
just
geared
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
kids.
Right,
I
right,
hear
right.
what you're
Like,
saying.
Geared,
My-
geared for families, yeah.
Right, geared for families, right? Like I have friends and family that is their vacation every year. They go to either Disneyland or Disney World, and they take the family, and everybody freaks out, and it's
Yeah.
like their favorite effing thing to do. And I totally understand that. The Disney parks, just like people can't understand that Star Wars was made for children, but adults,
Love
take
it.
offense to it, but adults love
Yeah.
it, and I get it.
I mean, Empire Strikes Back isn't really a kids movie.
It's not. No, and here's the thing.
Just
I think
saying.
that when they say they were made for
Well,
kids,
that's what George Lucas always
That's what he
says.
wanted. Yeah.
I always like to argue that because it doesn't feel like it was made for kids. There are a lot of things that felt like they were made for kids, i.e., when are they going to make a live action reboot of the Fox?
Fox and the
Fox and the
Hound?
Hound?
No, the Fox Robin Hood.
Oh,
The one that we
Robin Hood.
love,
the
right?
the
Robin Hood.
Fox Robin Hood.
Yeah, the Fox Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Or Rescue Rangers, right?
Right. Ooh,
Those were
Rescue
awesome
Rangers.
movies.
Yeah.
But those are like the lower rung things. Here's the thing too: is like my sister-in-law, they have season passes to Disney because they live in Orange County, right? And that's something to take their kids to, and that's like a worthwhile thing to buy.
If you can go a lot.
If you can go a lot. But a lot of people have to reserve the time to go to Disneyland. Either you take a day off work or you go on a weekend, and it is a miserable experience.
Yeah.
Because you can't, the lines are way too long, you can't get to see anything. If you want to spend the extra money, you're looking at a $3,000 plus day if you're taking a family.
It's hot if you go in the summer with your family because kids are out of school. It's super
ridiculous.
crowded. Yeah.
And that is $3,000 to a lot of people in this country is a ton of money. And if you expect to make money on a park, you know, like that's an ancillary business that you are. If you're taking a hit, like look at Euro Disney when that took the hit.
I'm buying a used Honda if I got $3,000.
Correct.
Like that's the move.
Yeah.
I'm not spending that in a day.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's
At
crazy.
Disney World,
No way.
Like, you're walking around, you're exhausted by the end. You want to throw your kids in the damn pond or off the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
You're eating shitty
And
churros
you can't
and
have
turkey
that
legs.
much fun. Like
You
there's
can't.
no version of
It's like
reality
eating
where I
fucking
can
popcorn.
like drop $3,000 and be like,
Right.
I feel comfortable in this purchase.
Happiest place on earth, a 3-hour line for Star Tours,
Yeah.
and
The
it's
Star thing.
45 seconds. Are you joking me?
And that plus the Fox thing, which is the addendum to that, is that they just bought a company whose properties they didn't market as
Right.
they came out.
Right.
And now they're putting out things. They're like, well, they're not doing well. It's like, well, there's some.
You didn't
maybe,
help us.
Maybe you look at it.
I agree.
See, that's the thing. They're coming back around to Dark Phoenix. We saw that they were like they were really upset with how the movie turned out, so they didn't really market it. So they're like, here it is. And it was like, oh, okay, which I thought it wasn't that bad actually.
I also heard that the other ending was better or something like that.
Yeah,
It
and I
was more
also-
cosmic. It was more like the comics.
yeah, that's what I
Which
heard
is
too.
why didn't they do that?
Well, you know,
Yeah.
the Dark Phoenix is known for being on a train, so that was a hot take.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
but New
The
Mutants.
iconic train scene from the comics.
New Mutants is interesting because it does have that horror angle that we've heard, and like all of us
which
fans,
got me
this-
super excited.
Right, I got really excited, but then this thing stopped, and then we heard about reshoots, and now they're unimpressed. So I don't know what's happening because Toy Story 4 then makes $1 billion, and Disney's like,
Well, the thing I've
Come
heard
on.
most.
And now they want a Toy Story
now
5
they
or something.
now they're like, you pick up the slack.
But the
here,
problem is
Fox.
we're comparing expectations unfairly. I think people,
Yes,
both
absolutely.
box office analysts and civilians and people that know nothing about movies can't look at Toy Story 4 and Dark Phoenix as the same expectation.
No.
We also can't look at the biggest movie of all time and be like, Endgame came in under expectations. I was like, it's literally number one. There's no better number to beat.
Like
It doesn't make any sense.
It beat Avatar.
yeah, and also, like,
nobody thought that was going to happen
couldn't-
except me.
The fact that they were like, yeah, because it got re-released. I'm like, Avatar got re-released twice, and Avatar had 3D sales, and Avatar was like, there's so many reasons. Plus, it's them fighting for number one versus number two because they own it all anyway.
And
it's
right.
all ridiculous.
The thing with Avatar too was you went and you were like, okay, I saw it in regular D because I didn't want to, because I'm not a big 3D guy. It kind of like it throws me off a little bit. But then you're like, everybody's like, you have to see it in 3D. So you got the double ticket sales.
Yeah.
Right. You got that.
Yeah.
You also got the event expectation where you, just like with Avengers are the same thing, where you saw it once, you wanted to see it with a different group of friends.
Sure.
And that's the strength of these movies. Dark Phoenix didn't necessarily have that.
Yeah.
So looking at these movies as apples and oranges, it's not fair to really look at these all as the same thing. And when we get these numbers out, it's not fair for analysts to be like, ooh, under expectation. You guys, they're all different types of movies for a reason.
Yeah.
New Mutants probably cost a lot less
Yeah.
at first, but then they released a trailer that was, I've heard, not like the movie they made. So then they had to put more money into making the movie they advertised.
Right.
And now they've got a mix of 2 or 3 movies.
And New Mutants doesn't have a star. Like Maisie Williams is basically your biggest star in the movie, right?
It's,
And
it's still,
Anya
it's still-
Taylor-Joy
yeah,
is
it's a
in it
good
as
cast,
well.
but it's
an
not
ensemble.
like a big bit. Like
Totally.
it's not
Right,
like
they
a
don't-
Michael Fassbender or
or a
yeah.
McAvoy or a Chastain.
Right,
in
right,
it
I get
for
And you're
Dark
also
Phoenix.
getting with the X-Men franchise, you're getting the casual fan, and I know I bring that up on the show all the time, and as I look at myself as the casual fan, right?
Yeah.
Is somebody like my cousins or somebody that were like, Dark Phoenix, I don't really, what is that, X-Men? I don't really understand what this is.
Right, because they didn't really say X-Men Dark Phoenix. They were
No.
marketing it with Dark Phoenix with an X.
Did you
in
see
somewhere.
Bumblebee? My friend's like, Bumblebee. Was that the
You
one?
didn't
was that
know
the-
it's
is that the Jerry
Transformers
Seinfeld
because they didn't market
movie?
it that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Do you
That's
guys
so
think
weird to
that?
me.
Do you
Yeah.
guys think that now that Disney's purchased Fox, like, do you think that they really want everything to be the same universe, so they just are not caring as much about the properties that aren't like,
That's a good question.
we want all our superhero movies to be like the MCU universe, and so maybe they're against like a New Mutants or a Dark Phoenix or something that's different. Where it's like, if that's the case, that bothers me because I want different. I don't want everything to be.
Yeah, I think
especially-
yes. I think yes, and Coy, I bet you have your opinion on this. I think that we heard, they're getting X-Men back. They're gonna put it into the MCU. We just don't know when. They're probably gonna give a little bit of breathing room, and I think New Mutants is gonna be a casualty of this. I really do. I wonder if they're gonna release this thing at all. I mean, I think ultimately they will. Because they're why not try to make some money? But they're going to reboot the X-Men and put it in the MCU. And the reason I think that they want everything to fit is because that report came out that they don't know what to do with Deadpool yet. Yeah. They have no idea how to fit him into the MCU.
Which drives me mad because if you look at the comics, there are different types of comics. There are R-rated comics, there are PG comics, there are PG-13 comics. The character of Deadpool, the kids that are going to sneak into Deadpool are going to sneak into Deadpool hard stop. It's not going to change what the rating is. None of that actually matters.
Right.
And if you have a solo Deadpool movie rated R and then you play with the beeps and the self-awareness and all that and put them in PG-13 movies as a team, that's how they do it in the comics. The Spider-Man Deadpool book, literally Spider-Man isn't allowed to hold a beer. It is a rule in comic books. Spider-Man is so wholesome he's not allowed to hold a beer, but he can go into a bar. So they had a scene in the Deadpool Spider-Man comic where Spider-Man is clearly label out holding a soda while Deadpool drinks a beer, and that keeps it PG-13. That's how you make it in the movies. It's all use them as storyboards. They're right there.
Coy's like, it's not that hard.
Just circle.
I totally agree because I think you can do the R-rated version, Deadpool, the ones we loved with part 1 and part 2, and leading into X-Force, which they were talking about doing, and have it R-rated, and then Deadpool can show up in a Spider-Man movie and go, hey, fucking A, it's beeped out, and he's, shit, that's right, I'm in the MCU.
Exactly.
And he breaks the fourth wall and says, shit, I forgot I'm in the MCU.
The only two problems are X-Force needs to come after X-Men because X-Force is the team of mutants that does all the things the X-Men can't. That's why they're exceptional. So if you said they're like, we're the hardcore guys you'll meet later.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. And then the other problem is the fourth wall concept doesn't work with the MCU as it is to date. If you notice the MCU, not a single character has a secret identity except for except for a certain character. But Daredevil in the Netflix universe had a secret identity, and I think that's a big part of why the Netflix team never worked with the MCU because they mentioned the incident, but the idea of secret identities haven't landed in the MCU.
It's interesting,
A fourth wall implies a separation from our reality. The MCU tries to put itself in a reality just akin to ours, like really close. Yeah. If you add in a fourth wall break, I think it'll alienate a certain flavor that the MCU allows. So you need to be careful with where you put Deadpool. I don't think he belongs in the Avengers. I think he belongs in the side movies and his own movies. But as soon as you make him part of the big event, then that might be what they're having a hard time finding. But he's $1 billion asset. So you make your $1 billion here and your $3 billion there. What's the problem?
But then just give him a cameo in the bigger movies, right? Like you can do that in a very simple way.
Howard the Duck cameoed.
They already did it.
It's true.
They already did it in Deadpool 2. They did exactly what I think they could do in the MCU, which is he goes to the X Mansion. He's doing his thing. Sorry, spoilers for Deadpool 2 that came out 2 years ago.
It's on HBO every night.
And he opens the door, and there's McAvoy, and there's Beast, and everybody from the X-Men movies that we knew, and they go, ooh shit, and they close the doors, and it was fucking great.
It
I
was
loved
so great.
it.
Also, Deadpool 1 has a helicarrier in it. Like, that's an MCU property item, and Tim Miller just didn't care, so he did it anyway.
Yep.
You can retroactively put the Deadpool universe in the MCU as if it always has been because it has a MCU piece of merch.
Yeah.
It's already there. You just make it so retroactively that happened in the past. They play with time all the time. Make it so.
It's like when you take the Josh Macuga Screaming Doll merch.
Right.
You retroactively put it in the past.
Correct.
You
With the
CGI
shark
into
diving,
the Goonies,
correct.
and then boom, it's been around for 30 years. Easy peasy.
Do you think that they're also going to start focusing on Fantastic Four?
I think they're doing Fantastic Four first. I think that'll be
Like before.
I think
before
you were
X-Men.
talking.
I think we'll hear about Fantastic Four in the next.
If they don't bring back
weeks.
Chickless, I'm going to be funkin' livid.
right.
I know he was.
Well, Feige
Chickless
said
was the
so.
best
He's
part.
perfect.
Feige said as much at Comic-Con. He said,
they'll bring
didn't
back
do-
Chickless?
No. That we're gonna. We haven't even talked about Fantastic Four. He started with that, and then he said something about the mutants for sure. But again, I think Fantastic Four makes a lot more sense.
We haven't had it right yet.
We have not had it right yet. And they fit perfectly in the MCU.
Yes.
They're the first family of Marvel, so they can come in and really,
The
blend
Fantastic
in
Four was so wrong that we always forget that Chris Evans was Johnny Blaze.
Oh, I know.
Whatever.
Storm.
Johnny Storm, yeah.
Johnny Blaze is
Ghost
Rider.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was like,
But
oh, wow.
my thing is Iron Man was basically the hyper intelligent, kind of removed because of intelligence leader of a team. Reed Richards can do that, guys. He's get John Krasinski,
He's
throw him in a suit,
pretty
get
smart.
his actual wife Emily Blunt play Sue Storm. It's right there.
Cody,
love
let's
it.
see if you can predict who I'm thinking thinking is going to play Rockman. What's his name? The Thing?
The Thing?
Johnny
Rockman.
Blaze and the Rockman
Or I
is
guess
a new comic coming from Macuga. There's a
like
doll in
this
it.
guy.
It's going to be great.
Rockman.
Yep.
Rockman and Johnny Blaze.
Cody, who is going to play the Thing?
John Cena.
Boom! You nailed it! Yes! Yes, Cody.
Perfect.
And you won't see him
Nope.
because he's under rocks.
He's the Rock.
Because he's Rockman.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect spot to go to break right now. Because when we get back, we are going to talk this CBS Viacom merger and what it means for the big properties like Star Trek and Mission Impossible. And we're going to touch on Neill Blomkamp and his Robocop movie. Yeah, not happening.
Aww.
So we're going to get to that as well as at 11:30, welcoming Grace and Alicia for their podcast.
And I have a really good pun for the Neill Blomkamp Robocop movie.
And of course, Josh Macuga has some puns to share
Come
with
on back for
everybody.
the
So
puns.
excited.
So
I'm ready.
it's Collider Live. We'll see you after the break.
Rockman!
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandreau, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love.
Sniff yourself.
Video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Hey guys, Perry Nemiroff here to let you know that The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that horror-filled podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. We also have clips on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel, and on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the Witching Hour.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Perry here to let you know about the new edition of Collider Movie Talk. We are going to 5 days a week. We have a short, sweet 20-minute show where we focus on the two biggest stories of the day. You can expect to see all of your favorite Collider personalities on the show, including Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Haley Fouch. You're getting Josh Macuga every Friday. We are going to have a blast. It's going to be informative, fun. Come join us, 3 p.m. PT Live every single day of the week, right here on the Collider Video YouTube channel. You can also find the show on the Collider Movie Talk feed on our podcast network, so go watch, go listen, however you prefer to get all of your movie news.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, you know, if you've been watching us every week, you know we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it with a rotating band of guests like Matt Nose and Josh Macuga. We've had Taylor Bisciotti on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time, time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel. And if you want to take us along with you in your ears, you can go and subscribe to the Collider Sports podcast feed for all the sports goodness.
Hey everyone, this is John Roca.
Hey guys, it's Riley here. Let me tell you about the Riley Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Riley Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Christian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars, and if you want to catch our weekly show where we talk about the latest and greatest in Star Wars, it's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel, and you can listen, you can watch, you can do all of it. But if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out, and then after Episode 9, you got TV shows, so we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real.
All right, welcome back to
song.
Collider Live. Mark Reilly I think he's in the bathroom, but sometimes the break gets away from you.
I think you gave him
Did you
food
finish your
poisoning.
Yep, there you go. Thanks for sharing those. Now I'm worried.
Did you finish your sandwich on the break?
No, almost halfway there.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it's really good.
Welcome back to Collider Live. On the mic right now, Josh Macuga, joined by Dorina Arellano. And did I do that right? Did I pronounce that well?
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Not bad.
You guys are welcome. And Coy Jandreau. So am I saying it right?
So that's a way. It's very confusing because it's every vowel.
How do you say when you introduce yourself?
Jandreau.
Jandreau.
I say the simplest way. It sounds like Jondro.
Right.
Yeah.
So much so that my dad actually, one of his emails is at Jondro because he's so sick of like correcting people.
Yeah.
But I don't have any French in me, so I don't like Jandro. Like I don't because that feels like false, like I'm lying.
The last name is.
It's very so
French-Canadian?
my dad, I guess he's my stepdad, but the dad that adopted me when I was like a baby is French, but I don't have any French blood, so I feel weird to be like, hello, this is the French name. I don't actually, but he raised me, so I consider him my dad. I just don't consider myself French.
And you
so
could,
it puts me in a
you could go and be Cajun in New Orleans.
Oh, in
with
a
Jandreau.
second,
No
for sure.
problem.
And and
Mark
it's a fun
Reilly's
name.
back.
Oh, hi, everybody.
How was
the
the
show?
bathroom?
Well, the bathroom was great. Thank you very much for asking. All right,
shits,
so
Mark?
no, I don't.
It's not a big fucking deal.
Exactly.
My favorite.
You know what? Nature called.
Jesus
is right.
Well,
All right, so we're going to switch over to Neill Blomkamp. I want to talk about this because I was really excited for him doing the Robocop sequel.
It was the RoboCamp sequel.
The what?
RoboCamp sequel. See what I did
no.
Is your point?
Nope.
That was the one.
Thanks,
that was
guys.
Josh.
It's been real.
Yeah.
Was that a
That's the
District
show, you
9
guys.
tie-in? Was that what that was?
Josh, you
got it.
teased it, and that
And
was
failed.
wasn't your best work. It wasn't your best
No.
work.
No, but
The Robocop.
It's okay.
Although
You know-
I would like a movie about a camp that is run by counselors that are Robocops.
Oh.
So Robocamp.
That's pretty good.
That actually,
So-
I would be down for that.
It's a
minute.
heavyweights. It's a heavyweights
Heavyweights
RoboCop.
with robots. It's AI robots discovering they has body dysmorphia.
In the future,
So
you send
they
your
get
kids
so-
to camp.
These robots get
it's my biopic.
So
Yeah.
robots get so self-intelligent they start worrying about their parts. Is this rusty? Is this piece too big? And they have to lose robo weight, but
I
they
have
can't
ugly
because they're
feet.
robots.
I have ugly feet.
It's training for robots that can't change their bodies.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
We're gonna make this movie.
we're
Robo
like-
shaming.
Disney just bought our property right,
Right.
now, and it made $1 billion.
Somebody
the
just
idea
made
of
this movie already. I'm
Somebody-
so
yeah.
mad.
Like super woke robo shaming is so funny to me.
Oh my God, RoboCamp. Tech programming the easy
Oh
way.
yeah, that's.
Well, that makes sense. That makes
That's funny.
Well,
It's
there we
space
go.
camp.
You know what I would love Neill Blomkamp to direct? An alien movie.
No, yeah, I
He
feel
was
like
going
he was
to.
gonna
I
do a
know.
very good one.
So this is the deal here. Neill
So
Blomkamp took to Twitter and he said, "Off Robocop. I am shooting new horror thriller and MGM can't wait. Need to shoot Robocop now. Excited to watch it in theaters with other fans." I call bullshit. One is that he's going to go shoot. I think this is a creative differences thing. I really do. I'm wondering why all of a sudden it's like if he wants to shoot a horror thriller right now and MGM saying no, so there's either like he's like, I want to keep working on this, go shoot this meantime, and then come back to this. Why couldn't they figure this out? He's been on this for over a year, I thought. So I'm a little bummed by this.
Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
this is totally off everything. Did Neill Blomkamp like speak that into a Japanese translator? and just use
really the seller.
Yes,
for me.
and just use like a
Robocop.
Google Translator is like off Robocop. I am shooting new horror thriller and MGM can't wait. Need to shoot Robocop now. Excited to watch it in theaters with other fans. And like
Maybe he was doing voice to text.
And I like
voice
that
to
he's
tweet.
like, I will watch it
Yeah.
with you. Like, it's a very strange, like, okay, so we get a theatrical announcement,
It
but
is
also what the
is
rest?
Blomkamp coming out?
Is he so busy?
It is a weird tweet. It read weird to me because it was such a random thing to come out. And so I liked the idea that we were picking up after the original RoboCop, that he was coming on. I love District 9. I love Elysium, actually. Chappie, not so much.
That music video for Diamond Word you didn't enjoy?
Right, yeah. But this got me excited, and I love that he was trying to do an Alien movie where he was like, you know what, those other movies, F them. We're going to pick up after Aliens. Newt's coming back. Hicks is coming back. And Sigourney Weaver or Ripley is coming back. And that didn't happen because Ridley Scott was going to do his Prometheus movie, and they kept going.
Well, maybe now in the future we could still get that if he's interested still.
Well, now Disney has it. They're not going to do Alien.
And we also
Why
lost one of
are
the
they
actors,
really
so.
like that's so dumb.
That's what pisses
they
me
should
off.
have an Alien ride at Disneyland. Like I don't understand why they're not focusing on this
They
franchise.
had one, didn't they?
No.
No.
Is that at
it's
Universal?
Alien
They
is,
used to have it at I think at no, it wasn't Alien. It was E.T. at Universal Studios.
No. There was a ride
you're
where
right.
an alien came through the
Oh,
ceiling.
you're
That's
That is a
right.
thing.
That's
Well,
at Universal.
Oh,
was
it
it-
was at Universal.
Was it
wasn't
Universal?
Yeah.
I don't know. Look this up. Can somebody look this up? Because I think you're right, Josh. I have
I know
deja vu
this.
about it.
Yes,
yeah.
I
I feel like
that's
Neill
right.
Blomkamp always makes the super fan decisions. Like when we hear about an Alien movie that's just after
Alien
2.
Encounter? No, that was just a regular. It wasn't the part of the franchise.
Yeah.
But-
Well, back to this. I'm bummed about this. I don't know really why he decides to do. He's deciding to. Maybe it's just because he's more passionate about this thing and wanted to do this and wait on RoboCop. But I'm a little bummed. So, what do you guys think? Who should pick up the director reign for this?
Well, I think it's more about like Neil being. I think he wants what the fans want, and then studio interference happens. Because I feel like
Feels that
Alien
way.
3,
Feels
and
that
then
way.
I feel like his RoboCop might have been too specific to a thing that they wanted to be a franchise. So I feel like he's on a very specific path.
Yeah.
I don't know that we just had a RoboCop movie. I don't know that I need another RoboCop.
Well,
look at this, you guys.
they
Sorry.
rebooted it.
Disney had come close to building an alien theme ride in the 1980s called Nostromo, where riders would shoot down xenomorphs with laser guns mounted to their cars. Nostromo never made it past the design stage. What? Do that. That sounds amazing.
But Alien found another home at Disney World when the great movie ride opened
That's
at
what
MGM
it is.
Studios. That's where I was.
That's what you were talking
MGM
about.
Studios at Disney World in Orlando.
Well, bring that back because that sounds awesome.
That's awesome. I don't know what they're going to do with the Alien property at Disney, and it really bums me out because I wanted a whatever third movie would have been by
Right.
Ridley Scott after the events of Covenant. I want that.
Me too.
And or Neill Blomkamp's version where they forget all the movies and they just pick up after Aliens. I want that, but I don't think they're going to. It's an R-rated property. It's like
But
by
then-
design, this thing bursts out of your chest. That
I
is not a
know,
Disney
and it
brand.
is a beautiful thing to do.
And it is so
but
beautiful
then just
to
do
watch.
the thing that they did in the 80s where they had Touchstone or somebody else.
That's what I feel like. I'm not as worried about non-R-rated Disney as everybody else is. I feel like Disney's going to keep making R-rated films under. They own the name Fox. They can distribute Fox films.
That's what I'm hoping they do. It just seems
But there's
that
still-
all the reports coming out, this earnings call with Bob Iger, where they're
Also-
unimpressed with this.
Also,
Like,
everything is safer now. Regardless of what you think, there's like, Disney owns Fox now. Disney is not the same Disney that it was in the 80s.
Sure.
Correct.
Like even if you watch the animated movies like Snow White and Pinocchio, those were super dark.
Right.
And they were for kids, right? They changed their brand as well.
Right.
So
The
that's
Lion
what
King
worries
was
me.
kind of dark. I mean,
Yeah.
it had its moments.
Not only are we neutering everything, we're making everything so accessible. We don't have interesting content. We have this very neutral, and that's how we're getting good indie filmmakers back. And I think that's how we're going to get good mid-range filmmaking back. But
That's true.
What gets more clicks than saying no more R-rated movies? I feel like we're sensationalizing this thing. It's very new. Fox
Part
was
of that.
only a year ago. I feel like all of these releases are them getting clicks. I feel like journalism's dead, but the continued death of journalism is happening. The fact that Joe Rogan is the best choice to moderate the 2020 presidential debate because Time doesn't do their job, CNN doesn't do their job, no one actually reports from an unbiased perspective. We need Joe Rogan. Like, it's terrifying how far we've fallen, and that's tying into this R-rated thing. It's just getting sensationalized.
Coy
clickbait.
Jandreau is
Okay.
very unimpressed with
I like
journalism,
this.
and I agree.
Unimpressed.
And I agree.
I like this.
Shut the ball.
And I think ultimately you're probably right because there are so many properties. They do have the Fox banner. They could put up the dun, 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 and we can be off and running.
was that
They
again?
did. Dun, 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 And then we had it with Touchstone Pictures. We had it with Hollywood Pictures. They own Miramax. For God's
Tarantino
sakes.
and Kevin Smith got their start under the Disney banner by way
sure
of
did.
like trickle
by
down.
way of Miramax. So it's there. I just think that to your point about the media and sensationalizing everything, we are only hearing about how we're unimpressed with X-Men. We're doing this with this. We're doing this with it. We don't know what to do with Deadpool. So everything right now is like, I think they're trying to figure out what's going on with their
Like
Fox.
Jojo Rabbit is the best possible case scenario for them to get weird press. There's a movie,
but they don't know what to do with that either.
But what better headline than like Taika Waititi's Hitler movie has blah blah blah. It's like, well, I'm gonna click that. So there's 100 other movies that might be already that get out there, but we're not gonna hear about that stuff because it's not as enticing as a. It's just I feel like this will blow over.
They don't focus their marketing on those movies.
Right.
That's what bothers me because like we've talked about this on the show before. You know, Avengers and all those movies, they don't need as much marketing as they think, right? So that's what I don't understand as to like why that money isn't going to smaller budget movies.
Right. Well, let me pose a question to you because I thought about this, and it has to do with our next story here. CBS and Viacom have officially merged, and so what it's doing is putting everything now, every single property they own that CBS owns, that is across Paramount Pictures, Star Trek, obviously, CBS, Viacom, everything is under one roof now. And so what this report, and thanks to our friends at Slash Film for doing this, they really kind of did a great article, like, what can this mean? What it means is now we have all that Star Trek Discovery stuff, the streaming service, CBS, all that kind of stuff. Well, there was a part of the deal that they couldn't use characters from the Star Trek movies if there were movies in theaters.
Right.
On their TV shows. But then when Star Trek Beyond comes out and there's a little bit of a lull between Star Trek movies, Spock shows up in one of the CBS shows. Right. Now that doesn't matter. Now they can travel back and forth. So it's like, okay, great. So now we'll probably get some more Star Trek movies sooner or later. I think it's pretty obvious. Mission Impossible, now we can get spin-offs of the movies into TVs for their streaming service. So what I think's happening now, and let me get your take on this, guys. Everybody's really trying to define their brand. They're trying to make it like Paramount, Viacom, CBS. It's like you're going to get your Star Trek, Mission Impossible, all that stuff over there. Then we're going to have Warner Brothers, HBO. It's going to be that. Then we have Disney Plus and Marvel and all that and so on and so forth. So I wonder if it's like when we're talking about R-rated movies and Deadpool and all this stuff, they're trying to really define what it is they're going to be doing. So when you subscribe to Disney Plus, you're also understand it's going to connect with the movies and TBD on Deadpool. With this, it's like Mission Impossible. Everybody's trying to get that piece of the streaming pie that's going to carry over into the movies. I think everything is going in that direction.
I mean, it's interesting because you look at other streaming services that are very specific genre, like Shudder, for example, right? Like that's catering specifically to my people and your people, Mark, right? Like that's only that you have a demographic there that's of people that are interested only in horror.
Yep, you're just going to get horror.
And they're really good at it because they don't just have movies, they have documentaries about these movies, right? Like it's whereas then you have the big bosses like Netflix where they have everything, right? So I think it's interesting to see all of these smaller
Who owns Shudder?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
Can somebody look that up?
Yeah.
Alex?
I've never
Alex.
Even heard of it. I don't know what
Shudder's
is.
great.
Yeah, it's really
what
good.
is
Well,
it?
why would you hear about it?
It's all horror movies.
It's like your nightmare.
It's
streaming
a streaming service that's all horror.
And it's like indie horror and all like the
Indie
weird
everything.
horror, big horror,
Yeah, they have
documentaries.
they have Nightmare on Elm Street documentaries. They have everything. It's really cool. I highly recommend. And then you have like Crunchyroll, right? That do like anime and things like that.
Yeah.
So if maybe it's not so much more about the brand, but it's about like if you get like a streaming service for the type of entertainment or the genre. Right, that and then you can get that demographic for the specific thing. But with something like Mission Impossible or Star Trek, like that's really specific.
Yeah,
Shudder's operated by AMC.
Oh,
AMC.
there you go.
There it is.
When I hear this, I just hear cable in the 90s. It's just back to cable. That's all this is.
I've been
It's
saying
just
this for a
stacking.
year plus. Is we are just going back to cable.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
We're stacking different genres, different channels, and we're adding in plugins. It's all just cable.
Totally.
But it's also, you use the word branding, it's cable meets vloggers in the early 2000s. It's solidifying your brand so you know what channel to watch on YouTube, but now we're adding the cable component. So it's the old media trying to be the new media, and both are failing.
Yeah.
Because
but
no one's going to afford $120 a month for 15
Exactly.
different. And that's how cable.
That's
failed.
why we canceled. That's why most people
cable went
canceled DirecTV, right? Like we all whatever satellite service we used to have, like that was cheaper than that,
Right?
And we canceled
And
it.
now we're just going back to cable.
But
Exactly.
I think those people, the suits, they see this as a new take on that, and we won't notice. But we notice, and
course.
it's also them trying to do the vlogging, which failed. Like having a brand didn't work out for all these people on these because the internet died.
Right.
So there's all of these problems that are. It's just an Ouroboros of bullshit. It's just eating itself.
Yeah, it's very interesting to watch, and that's the one thing that occurred to me with this, where it's like, oh, another big merger, oh, another streaming service
Right.
coming. It's just like, okay, but we're gonna get these movies. Yeah, it's cable. It's not, yes, it's like, oh, what do you want to watch tonight? Do you want to watch CBS Viacom, or do you want to watch Disney Plus, or do you want to watch Netflix, or do you want to watch Hulu, or do you want to watch? It's like. That's what it is, and you'll get
there's
it,
no
all
way,
these things.
There's no way I'm paying for all of those things. It's just not going to happen, and especially
But I
because
guarantee you, cable providers are going to pay to put that on your guide.
of course, for sure.
And
the
my-
TV Guide's going to come back.
Of course.
TV Guide better.
Well,
love the
we're
TV
in the
channel.
middle. This is the streaming wars. It's happening. We're doing this right now, and everybody is putting their big properties together. This is what that is. It's like, okay, you like Mission Impossible and Star Trek? That's our streaming service.
Yeah.
And Disney's like, well, really? We might be unimpressed with X-Men, but we have
Right.
Mandalorian, we have Loki, we have WandaVision and MCU and all this stuff. And HBO's like, oh yeah? Well, we got HBO Plus, and we got DC, and it's like, oh yeah? Hulu's like, well, we got Handmaid's Tale, and we have this,
I
and
would
we have
love
that.
to watch a You Got Served version of all of these suits
Oh,
trying to fight it
man.
out.
I'd
with
watch
the
you guys.
streaming wars.
I'd subscribe to You Guys Serve channel
No.
right now.
First of all, Coy, you're 100% correct. Second
Now
of
you
all,
said it, I can't
Same.
escape it.
it is legitimately the scene in Anchorman 2.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
It's
Right.
The first
That's
Anchorman
exactly what it is.
was
Will Smith just
20
came
years
out with
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we are legitimately watching Anchorman 2 with like, we're MTV News. What's that? We don't know.
Yeah. It's like,
It's so real.
not
living in a
before
meme.
Shutter
Yes.
enters the mix.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Holding
like,
a grenade.
Shudder? What is Shutter doing here?
Crackle's just like, oh my god.
Right. Yeah.
What did we miss? Quibi's like, we still don't know what we are.
So it is.
Oh, I love
Everybody's
this.
Such a
vying
good
for your
scene.
dollar. Everybody's, because Disney Plus comes out and goes, and then they go, oh, by the way, we're going to do it. If you just want Disney Plus, $6.99, and Netflix is like, oh shit.
That's also where they're putting. Remember, you asked like the $8 billion. Where's that
Right.
going? It's making that $7. It's
Yeah.
making Disney Plus
That's
less than the
exactly
price of a sandwich.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's the market. Like you now have.
At
Look
the
at all
room
that.
commissary.
Look at that. Look at all that. Look perfectly. Disney Plus, AT&T, ESPN Plus, Direct Now, HBO Now, Sling, Prime Video, Hulu, Netflix,
And that's-
YouTube TV.
And that's not even counting all the other streaming services that people get that, like for sports, right?
Right.
Like there's all of
For
this
sport.
other world of
But here's the beautiful
Apple
thing.
TV,
people pay
Apple's
for.
doing
What
their streaming
people-
service.
What people don't get, and why I think it's going to come back to cable, is like, I cut cords and I don't need to do all this stuff. Yeah, but if you don't cut cords, my cable subscription, because I pay for all these channels, gets me every single app.
Yeah.
Besides Netflix and Amazon, gets me. I can go on NBC Universal. I can go if I have NBC, I can go on all the NBC things. I can go on all because I have cable. I just
Yeah.
use my cable login, and it signs me up for HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, all the stuff that I've already paid for. I'm already in it, and I'm guaranteed I'm paying pretty similar to what cord cutters are paying.
It's
Unless you
all
just go Netflix.
cyclical, and we're gonna end up with Blockbuster Video coming back.
Yes.
God, I hope so.
I wish.
Now, I don't know if you guys usually reference the live chat, but I when I'm live, I have to.
Sure. Yeah, what's going on in the live
A few
chat?
people are talking about how they're just going to bootleg it.
Bootleg it. Okay.
That is how we lose content.
Yes.
I just wanted to publicly say, if
Thank
these
you,
things
Coy.
cost money, perhaps giving them back money is how they continue to exist. You may notice all of the paywall internet places are no longer around.
I mean-
there's a certain line you have to cross. Like, these shows cost hundreds of millions because your expectations are so high. Game of Thrones, which I'm personally not that big of a fan of, but I know a lot of people are, so I'm just a little caveat. This isn't me as a fanboy. This is me as a consumer.
Sure.
It was very expensive, and if you didn't buy the 7 seasons of HBO, they couldn't have gotten to the 8th season where they had a full episode of Dragons.
And-
Like,
Correct.
that's how you get to the good stuff.
And to add to Coy's point, it's not just Game of Thrones, right? There's all of these great shows on HBO, like Los Spookies that we talked about
Yeah.
here, right? Like there's those shows that
Succession
do
just came
need
back to
your
me.
money.
Big Little
right?
Lies,
Exactly.
Euphoria.
And
Two
bootlegging is
series
why
that I
we lost
loved.
mid-range film.
Right.
Bootlegging is
Totally.
why, like, we have blockbusters because those movies will make their tax write-offs and/or their money internationally.
Yep.
And then indie films cost the catering budget budget of those big movies. The reason mid-range film and TV is gone is because of bootlegging. So if you think that's the answer, you might be part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm
So
with you on
bootleg
that.
Disney Plus, but not Shudder.
I know, and I've never
If
believed
you're
in
gonna.
that.
Just saying.
I hate because just down to the nitty gritty of bootlegging is you have all these people that work on this thing.
Yeah, man.
And they put it out there. They put blood, sweat, and tears, creatively or physical production, whatever it may be, and somebody bootlegs it, and that money doesn't go back into those people's pocket.
Like-
and I know sometimes people will go, well, no, it's only going to go back into the
To the
big,
suits, right.
But not always. Not always.
I think it
There's-
depends on the service.
Well, like
Yes.
Napster and Kazaa cost us albums, right? Like albums don't exist in the way they did anymore. Now they just release singles, and Spotify allows for you just to have one song, which means artists now can't make 7 songs of fluff.
Right.
You don't get as many like skits on rap albums
Totally.
anymore because those things aren't the content we're looking for. So
Well,
I think that led to festivals, and festival music is now because of the Napster and those
Yes.
things. So the entertainment industry will always evolve. It'll always find a way to
Yes.
monetize. But in the meantime, we lose out on certain content. Like we won't like Netflix Marvel doesn't exist anymore for a very specific reason. Like
Right.
it's a really interesting time to watch the internet fail and thrive.
Right.
Well, that's what's
and
going
I'm
on.
glad you
That's what's
mentioned
happening.
because I work in the music industry, right? So I've seen like the changes where it's like you're right, like people like artists used to make money off of albums, and then it became just tour and merchandising because people weren't buying albums because Apple came out with iTunes,
yeah.
right? And so they were only buying singles. Right, like that's what
99 cents or
people were
$10.
buying just songs, and they stopped purchasing albums. But Spotify now is it's with things like Spotify. It's interesting because like I actually do listen to full albums on Spotify.
Same.
Right, which like I wasn't doing that as much. So like so that's it. Depending on how a company develops their software tool or their streaming service, and how not only how it's user friendly, but discovering other shows and discovering other music, I think is really important, and
Same.
that's what attracts an audience, right? So it's not so much about just making good content, but it's about also how you're presenting that content to the audience.
Yeah.
What we need to do is like the Disney Plus method of $6.99 is going to get a lot of people in it no matter what. And
Right.
I hope there needs to be less overhead. Just like with everything else in this country, the middle class needs to thrive. We have plenty of people making billions and plenty of people making dozens. There need to be people living comfortably. We need to find a way to make all of this content accessible, affordable, but keep growing. I would much rather have 100 people watch something for $10 than 10 people watch something for $100.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's where we need to find this new ground. And that's not going to happen overnight, but that's what these studios need to be looking at. They need to not be canceling half their shit. They need to not be restructuring. They need to look at the way they make it with less overhead and with everyone getting paid on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, yeah. Well, you look at Netflix has slowly been raising their prices, right? Because they were the first really to do all this, to
Right.
really get popular. And they're like, you want Stranger Things, you get original movies and all these things. So the price is going up. But now all these other streaming services are rising to the top, and they're doing the announcements. They're like, here's your Mission Impossible Star Trek, huh? Here's your Disney Plus, huh? And so everybody's trying to make, okay, there's the content. Do I want to sign up? It's going to come down to the price now.
But here's the
It's
thing.
going to come down to that. Like, what is
else is
CBS, Viacom
But
going to
here's
be?
the thing with CBS and with Viacom, and Viacom for a long time, and Viacom can look at how they ran Comedy Central for how far Comedy Central has fallen, because Comedy Central used to be a destination place for funny television, right?
Yeah.
And because Viacom didn't license any of their properties to outside streaming services, you lost a ton of stuff. Shows like Detroiters, which is absolutely genius. Shows like the Workaholics, which was basically their last destination
So
TV
great.
show.
Yeah.
But because they buried it and wouldn't let you watch it outside of Comedy Central or the Comedy Central app, you lost a gigantic audience of people going, you know what show I just watched? I just watched Workaholics on Netflix, and it's just absolutely incredible. It's like, oh, that came out on Comedy Central. Where can I watch the newest season? And that's what the
Exactly.
people never understood. Same with shows like with channels like Travel Channel, which I shot a show for, which everybody thought was a green light no matter what. And Travel Channel was like, I don't know. And they don't have an app. They didn't play it anywhere digitally. Same thing has happened with Cooking Channel, with Food
Network.
Food Network, all that kind of stuff. Is they're not licensing a lot of their properties outside to digital services. And the way to bring people back to your channel now, and the way for people to come back to cable is because I want to watch all these reruns, but I don't like going through the app. It's a little too confusing.
Yeah.
Like a generation like my parents' generation who
They don't
aren't
care.
digital,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is they are still there and they are still watching a ton of content because they're retired and they just want to relax
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
most
Yeah.
of our
That's
most of
cable.
our
That's what's
parents
going
on.
most of our parents just watch Netflix now,
Right.
like that, and that's like you don't want to make it more difficult for them. Like they're probably not going to get any of these other services
Totally.
unless they're super fans of of a property, right? But yeah, you mentioned things like Comedy Central, like AMC, the same thing. I stopped watching Mad Men and Walking Dead when I cut my cable and I could only watch it through the app. I just stopped. And it doesn't mean that I didn't want to keep watching the shows or that I wasn't
interested. It's just two more
interested.
steps that you didn't need.
Exactly.
It's just these steps.
And it's also an entire network for one show is so impossible. Like my favorite new show of 2019 is Pennyworth. It's on Epix.
Yeah,
that's complicated.
I've heard I got to start watching.
Yeah.
But I have Epic.
But that puts me in a spot without cable. I'm
Yes.
like, I got the first 3 episodes because I interviewed the cast. I want to keep watching. So now I'm like, do I pay
You have to
$10
get-
a month for the show I love?
Same
Yeah.
thing happened to me with Stars and Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like
Yeah.
I'd only had Stars because of that show. So there's that too.
Yeah, it's going to write itself. It's going to, everybody's going to get you're going to have to figure it out based on the content they're offering, the price. It's going to be interesting how it all shakes out in, I mean, give it like 6 months. It's going to be a big change, I'm sure. It's going to be big, like Disney Plus is going to be out. We're going to figure out what you're going to pay your money for.
Also, I wonder what, if these companies are thinking about, I'm sure they are, that people are going to sign up for like a trial, for like 3
Trial
months.
run.
And
Yeah.
once the show's over, they're going to unplug.
I'm
So that's
afraid
probably going to happen a
There's
lot.
also
What
the
YouTube Red
multi-password
did.
approach. There's
Yeah.
also the like,
Exactly.
here's my new Gmail. Add a 1. Here's a new Gmail.
There's gonna be that, too.
And we're gonna look back on this in 5 years like we looked at the cable days. We're gonna look back on this in 5 years like we looked at when HBO became its own separate thing. Like we're seeing these historic moments, but the problem is the generation gaps are getting shorter and shorter because our internet is getting faster and faster. Our ability to grow is getting faster and faster. So we're seeing generation gaps every 3 to 5 years, not every 10. So I'm fascinated by 2 years from now what the market even looks like, what the landscape is.
What technology
too.
looks
What
like, and then Skynet takes over.
I mean, Skynet's coming before cable gets settled.
I'm so
All that.
excited.
It's
I'm
really,
so scared.
It's really, really damn scary. So we're going to lighten it up and go to break because
You
we
got it, you got
have
it.
Grace and Alicia Have Lives. Grace Hancock
Yay.
and Alicia Gaynor are going to be in studio, and
Thank
we're
you for
going to say
having me.
goodbye. Yes, Coy's going to head
Yay.
out.
This was so much fun,
Thank
guys.
you very much for joining us,
Midnight
Coy. Collider Heroes, make sure you check that out. Coy and Amy are there every, Tuesday?
Yeah.
And then, of course, comic book shopping.
So
Comic
proud of
book-
that show. I love
yeah.
that show. And you guys, I love having a live chat full of amazing people. So thank you all for watching this. And this was I loved freeform conversation. I never get this.
And
It's
just
the
wait
best.
until Coy and I release Screaming Josh, the doll for all generations.
Yes.
It's coming.
And check
I
that
want
out.
one.
And our Sean Paul cover album.
Yes.
Can I design it as a voodoo doll?
Yes.
There's
So-
that option. There's the Dorina cut.
Thank you very much, Coy, for joining us, and we will be back with Grace and Alicia on Collider Live. Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandreau, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love. So, video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Hey guys, Perry Nemiroff here to let you know that The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that horror-filled podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. We also have clips on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel, and on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the witching hour.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Perry here to let you know about the new edition of Collider Movie Talk. We are going to 5 days a week. We have a short, sweet 20-minute show where we focus on the two biggest stories of the day. You can expect to see all of your favorite Collider personalities on the show, including Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Haley Fouch. You're getting Josh Macuga every Friday. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be informative, fun. Come join us. 3 p.m. PT live every single day of the week, right here on the Collider Video YouTube channel. You can also find the show on the Collider Movie Talk feed on our podcast network, so go watch, go listen, however you prefer to get all of your movie news.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, you know, if you've been watching us every week, you know we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it with a rotating band of guests like Matt Nose and Josh Macuga. We've had Taylor Bisciotti on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel. And if you want to take us along with you in your ears, you can go and subscribe to the Collider Sports podcast feed for all the sports goodness.
Hey guys, it's Reilly here. Let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Reilly Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Christian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars, and if you want to catch our weekly show where we talk about the latest and greatest in Star Wars, it's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel, and you can listen, you can watch, you can do all of it, but if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out, and then after Episode 9, you got TV shows, so we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real.
It's Collider Live. We are back. It is Thursday, August 15th, and look who is in the studio.
Yay.
Oh my God, welcome, please. Grace Hancock, Alicia Gaynor, here to promote their podcast, We Have Lives.
I am so happy that you guys are here.
I am so
Very
excited. It's been a while since I've seen you both. How the hell are you? Grace, Alicia, tell us a little bit about your podcast, We Have Lives.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's awesome.
It is fucking hysterical.
And that's about it. Yeah. No, you know, one day Alicia's just the coolest ever. I texted her and I was like, hey, we're doing a podcast. And immediately wrote back, yeah. And that was about it.
Yeah. That's all the foresight and planning that we had.
Yeah. And that's also how in sync you guys are. You're like weird twins.
But
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
usually
It's like-
the good thing that like when you're on the same page like that, that's a good thing.
I think so.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it shows, or it sounds.
Yes.
You can hear it.
It hears?
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
it
you-
hears.
Yeah, I know. How do
It
you say
audibles?
it?
I don't know.
It makes me hear things.
You can feel it.
I can feel it.
So what is the podcast about? Even though I've heard it, but tell our listeners
Yes.
and viewers. And also I want to know how you guys became friends. In order to have the podcast
we had that
happen.
story.
Yeah, okay, great.
Give us the history. Give
Well,
us all the dirt.
I'm going to
The
learn how to
wicked
sit
deeds.
while I tell this story.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's okay. It's, I mean, you know. So wait, what was the first question? Oh, so the podcast is about really anything that
It's kind of, I love
are
it because
feeling.
it's exactly what we want to talk about at any given time.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of shows that are about like films or nerd stuff or Marvel, you know, blah, blah, blah.
And we
or
talk about
podcasts,
all
I
that
mean.
stuff.
Yeah, when we feel like it. But then it's also open to us to talk about whatever we want.
Yeah.
Which is great because then we can touch on a lot of fun stuff, a lot of silly stuff, some serious stuff.
Yeah.
And are you guys drinking
Dog
during
stuff.
this podcast?
I would say like
most of the time.
50% of the time.
Yeah, like 60%
Because
of
I
the
see
time.
the
Like
dry
70%
martini.
of
Like
the time.
110% of the time.
Okay.
That's correct.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So, and it drops every Monday, is that correct?
Yes.
That's right, every
Yeah,
Monday morning.
bright and early.
And
Bright
it's
and
We
early.
Have Lives. Is that what it's
It's
called?
Grace and Alicia Have Lives.
Oh,
Which
okay,
Ken
okay.
Napzok named.
He did. We were like
Oh.
struggling to come up with a name, and he just walked in and he's like, "What about Grace and Alicia Have Lives?" And we were like,
I was going to say, it's a great time. Well done, Ken.
Yeah,
I know.
Look at him. He's so useful.
I know. Who knew? I was like, make use of yourself, sir.
I know. Stop slacking, Ken. What's with this Star Wars book?
I mean, yeah, it's not like he had anything going on.
Yeah,
Certainly not.
Exactly. Well, I love the title, so good on Ken.
Yeah,
so,
he's great. And then we became friends.
Yeah. Well,
After the
figured.
podcast.
And now we're quite
And
close.
now I guess she's fine.
Did you text your number neighbor and just say we're doing a podcast, and it happened to be Alicia?
And
she was
she lived like
sure.
9 minutes away. I was like, this is crazy.
What are the odds?
Did you seen that stuff? That
Yeah,
that
I'm
number
not doing
neighbor
that
stuff?
because I
no.
want them to have my number.
I know. I don't like to
Hello?
talk to strangers.
But,
No,
like, what
or people I know even.
What are the chances? I mean, can you imagine it being in the time it was like Ted Bundy gets a text and he's like,
Like,
well, I guess I know
I'll
where
be
I'm
your
going.
number neighbor.
No.
And you're like, what the fuck? No,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. You never know who's on the other end of that thing.
Definitely.
No. And then what if they're, God forbid, it's like somebody I don't know. I
feel like
I don't want
best-
anybody to have my number ever.
Yeah, I feel like best case scenario, it's someone annoying that you wish you hadn't spoken to, and worst case scenario, you did.
Yeah.
It's like that's
This
what
is
you
very
want.
true. And people are screwing with people. Did you see that one with Chris Evans?
Yeah.
Somebody thought that they got somebody was sharing something that was number
Yeah.
neighbor Chris Evans, and Chris Evans gets the number and goes, "Oh, I'm Chris Evans," and they go, "No, you're not," and he goes, "Let's FaceTime then."
Yeah. And
Chris-
then he tweeted it and he was like, fake, sorry.
Yeah,
We were
Chris
all like,
Evans
no.
Nah,
Yeah.
wasn't me.
Like as if.
Yeah. See, because somebody's out there pretending they're Chris Evans, and you know.
Yeah, it's like prime catfishing.
Yeah.
Well, and now you got your deepfake videos and photos, and that's crazy. Where you can just, Photoshop people.
This
Ooh,
is-
yeah, that's real
so
creepy.
scary.
This
yeah.
is
What is that called? Deep fake?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Is that like a thing?
Yeah, no. So
like
that's how
worse
people
catfishing?
No, that's how people manipulate videos and,
Yeah,
and
it makes
photos
it
now.
looks
yeah.
really real. Like you can make if there's enough like body of their voice available, you can make someone say
It's like
anything.
AI.
Yeah, this is a big thing that's happening now. And it's the face swap technology is kind of there.
Yeah, but it says deepfake is a technique for human image synthesis based on artificial intelligence. It is used to combine and superimpose existing images and videos onto source images or videos using a machine learning technique. I don't know. That got really nerdy.
I
know.
loved your reading of that.
I loved the commitment of
You know,
yeah,
as-
we're gonna read the definition.
Yeah.
No, as if there wasn't enough
That's what we
reasons
do
to
here.
keep us all up at
This
night.
is like Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street where we teach kids how to read. So,
I didn't
yeah.
bring
So
a
many
jacket to change
sweaters.
into.
But
It's
wait,
a
did
beautiful
you
day
guys
in the
meet here
neighborhood.
at Collider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did meet at.
Start over.
We did meet at
You
Collider.
said it, Grace.
And then, thank you. Didn't hit it off,
Didn't?
actually.
I made
Right
a
away.
terrible first impression per everyone. I was perfect, but they were all like, "You're making us do things."
Yeah, it wasn't a great first impression. But then, like, a few years ago, it was my birthday, and Wednesday, our friend Wednesday
Our friend
Adams.
Wednesday Lee
my
Zaney.
alter ego. Yeah.
You mean me?
Yeah. So Wendy was taking me to lunch, and then Alicia kind of like trailed along. And then when I got
well,
there,
I'm not a dog. I wasn't
not
like,
like
oh, they're going.
but I remember I like joined later, and I was like, oh hey, because I didn't know. I thought you were working. I don't know, not like
Grace
she's
just treats
here.
everyone like rat.
I mean, honestly, the biggest compliment Grace could give.
I mean, that's true.
It's true.
But then they like ordered rosé for me, and we did like a cheers, and they were taking little boomerangs, and I was like, wait, like this bitch is fucking awesome, because who does that? Like, and then I just decided I was like, oh, we friends.
Yeah.
And then it escalated from there.
And then it would be my favorite because I do miss working with you guys because you guys were always so fun in that corner.
What?
Because I would come by and just be like, you guys are always laughing, having fun. And then I remember Roka gets in there and gets in on that action. And I'd come out of the writer's room that I shared with Ken and Josh, and I walk over there and you're laughing and having fun. I'm like, see, that's how work should be.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
having
correct.
fun and doing
Exactly.
these things. Not that we weren't, we had fun in the writer's room, but
I would hope so.
But we're like next level fun.
Yeah.
you were next level fun.
Like, you guys are fun, but Grace and Alicia are
They're
way
more
more
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we have lives.
Which is
what
why
can
you
I say?
listen to their podcast.
Exactly, because it really shows that relationship does show in your
And
or
no,
does sound.
And I'm not just helping promote your guys' stuff because you guys are my friends, but I honestly listened to the episode with Frank, And of course, because Frank is great.
A premium
the
episode.
sexiest man alive, as Grace said.
Frank.
But it's really interesting because I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because I get bored or I don't finish them.
Yeah.
And I listen to the entire episode. I just really enjoyed listening
That's
to
a
you guys
long
talk.
episode, too.
Yeah,
That is the highest form of a
That is
compliment.
Yeah.
the
It really
highest one.
is.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are very entertaining and funny and awesome. So
Thank you. That means a lot.
you.
It's getting gross now too because we're starting to do what I'm sure you and Kyle do and what I know Ken and I do is where I'll be like, oh, you know what? And then she's like,
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah. And it's like I didn't say anything, but we're just so.
You have a shorthand now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how many episodes in are you?
We just released 20.
20.
It's 20
Wow.
or 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't
20.
know.
I think 20.
Well, you're in the 20s now.
Yeah.
Do you
so
have
that's
a-
really great.
Yeah.
do you have a favorite episode so far?
That's a good question.
I think every episode because I'm perfect in every way.
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
This is true.
Correct.
This is,
Yeah.
We've
See,
learned
that's
this.
great. I
Yeah,
love
there's
that.
some episodes that are definitely my favorite, but I don't know which number they are.
They're
all
agree.
perfect.
They're all great.
Is there a dream guest that you want to have on the show?
I mean, other than Jason Momoa, I don't know.
My man.
Jason Momoa, all
Telling
right.
you, I have his cell phone number.
I know.
We
You
can
gave it
text
to
him.
me. I keep
Yeah.
it in a very sacred place for a dark day when I need it.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. Let's circle back there. How do you have Jason Momoa's number, and can I have it? And let's call him right now online, live on the show, and see what
And here
happens.
with us today.
And then Alicia got deeply sued.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably guys. No, we're not going to do that.
It would be
We
worth
can't do
it.
that.
Yeah,
Do it for me.
I honestly don't know if it's still his cell phone number, but a few years ago I worked on a movie. I think it got released as Once Upon a Time in Venice.
Oh.
It had like 7 names while I was working on it. And I had his number as part of our confidential cast list.
Sure,
It's not like we're friends.
I understand that.
Not
I
yet.
figured it was something like that. Yeah.
He's not
I
your
mean,
man.
I could be his friend.
Yeah, let's
I
text
think
him right now.
I think Jason
you know what?
would
We're gonna
love
have
you.
him on the show.
Yeah.
We'll bring him on.
Let's go ahead and text him and just put this. Hi, number neighbor. How are you? You're safe then. It's
Yeah.
not like
I
we
don't
were
know
on a
who you
live
are, but
show
do you
want
talking
to be on
about
my
how you have it.
I still feel like the creation of this video has made it deeply illegal.
Yes, it will be deeply illegal if we were to do that. But that's very cool that you have it, and you guys can talk about this on We Have Lives. I'm sure you already did.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's very cool. All right. Well, I do want to open up the phone lines
Yes.
because we are getting towards the end of the show because I would love for you guys to join us as we talk to fans of Collider Live, ask questions for Grace and Alicia about their show.
Number
and
neighbors,
Number
whoever gives us a
neighbors,
call.
whatever you want to talk about. Any
Jason
of the
Momoa.
news we talked about. What Dorina thought of It Chapter 2. What is it? The It Experience.
Yes, so fun, you guys.
You can do
Highly
all
recommend.
that. So, Cody, you can open
she
up the
won't.
phone
It's gonna be a no
lines.
for me.
And
I
we'll
think
do
you should
that.
go.
Are you
I think
guys-
you can do it.
I get scared.
No, she will
How
not do
scared
it.
Do you
are
not
you?
watch
Yeah.
horror movies?
No.
So you're like Josh.
I'm like Josh. I'm just like better
Less
looking
squealing.
than Josh. But in other ways, I'm exactly like Josh. Yeah.
Okay.
With horror
Interesting.
films, yes, just less squealing.
But Grace,
Yeah.
you like horror movies.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, to this day, lied to me and told me that he was going to take me to see It Chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
The first
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Never did. Still never did. I had to watch it with friends.
What?
Liar.
Ken doesn't watch those either, huh?
No.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you
Pussy.
and Kyle should go because
I know.
Kyle loves scary movies
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Ken, he'll watch it, but it's like he's not really a horror guy, I would say.
He barely watches movies.
Yeah. I mean, I
Just
I
Star
was-
Wars.
I'm still pissed that he didn't see
Indiana Jones.
Ghostbusters for so many years until we finally
It's
saw
so
it.
crazy.
That's okay.
That's
I didn't
crazy.
see it until like last year.
Yeah.
I'm always kind
You
of
didn't
excited.
see Ghostbusters till last year?
You too?
I mean,
What are movies that, like, big movies like that, Ghostbusters, that you guys
Godfather.
had? Was it Godfather?
I still haven't seen it.
Not
saw
any
this-
of them.
I know.
Okay, Cody, put on Godfather
Should
right
we
now.
leave?
We're closing
All
out the show.
Sorry. Well, the thing is, whenever I find out one of my friends hasn't seen one of those big movies that I love and I'm really excited about, I think it's a great thing because then you get to experience it with them.
Yes.
And you get to like see it
Yeah.
for the first time through their eyes.
Yeah.
See, I just berate them.
Also that.
No, that is actually, to your point, that's one of my favorite things that I do with Julie. Like, we watched the Godfather movies, and she
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. It's like it's so later in the year. It's later in the year. It's been so
I don't
long.
like to
I
watch
don't know.
Godfather during the fall.
Yeah, I just like
Yeah,
it's Christmas. It
It's
doesn't
an
feel right.
early year movie. It's,
It's-
a February
It's such
It
a
movie.
really
summer
is.
flick.
Yeah.
But she watched it and she was like, "Oh my God,
I'm
this is great."
surprised you hadn't seen it since Godfather is like religion in Mexico. You know?
Oh really? Yeah. It's one of those that missed her, and then we watched Godfather 2, but she had heard enough about the Godfather kind of series that I went, "You want to watch part 3?" She went, "Nah." And I went,
Which is fine.
You haven't seen it? She's like, I heard it's bad. And I go, oh, it's not
Yeah,
good.
like she just needs to watch 1 and 2. It's fine.
Yeah, she was
It's
fine. So, but I love that experience, being able to watch these movies with people who haven't seen them. So, Godfather, make a date. You have to do it early in the year, though.
Okay,
so
February. It's on my calendar.
Okay, good. Cody, do we have any calls? No, we did. Oh, how many? Okay, great. Hi, you're on Collider. You're on. Hi, you're on.
Did I just have a stroke? I don't know.
That's the sound we have when we have a call. And hi, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
You got Kevin from Toronto.
Hi,
Hello,
Kevin from
Kevin.
Toronto. What's your question today?
Hello. Hey, yeah. I got not much of a question, but more of a request. I've been like a huge fan of the show for a while now. I've watched you guys like every morning.
Great.
Canada, well, afternoon, 1:30. So, yeah, I was just wondering if you like. I actually sent a link to Dorina and Cody, like, so maybe he could pull something up. And
which one?
It's my cousin. He's in LA now, and very close to you guys. And he's a musician. I was wondering maybe you guys could listen to a couple of the songs, see what you think. I sent the link straight to Dorina, so like I don't know. Maybe
did you tweet it or?
Was it tweet? Did you tweet it?
How did you send it?
I Instagram DM'd it.
Oh, well, I don't think I have my DMs open.
He's like, I airdropped it. I'm outside that door.
You slid the music into my DM.
There it is. Yeah, we can look into it, and we'll say Dorina's the right person for that. She loves her music, so well, thank you very much for the call. Yeah, we can look into it. Oh, great.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin, so much for the call.
Thank you.
I'm so high pitched, and I didn't mean it to.
I know. Wait, Grace.
Whoa.
Grace, can you do that thing? I know it.
Oh,
I know it's about Cal.
Okay, should I turn away from the thing?
It has to be a little way. So just to fill in the backstory here, when Cal would come to the office, Grace would do this thing that would always melt my heart, and it would get Cal so excited, and it was this. That was it. It just would always and Cal would go. Hey.
You sound like a mogwai.
Yeah. It was
I have
that
many
thing.
skills. Yeah.
It was that thing, and I know. Oh, he's still watching out for us. He's still here with us today.
The best.
Yeah, he is the best. I don't want to bring it down. That was.
I'm at the point.
I'm at the point with the happy memories.
Good memories.
Right? You know,
That's
it's like
big.
it's I'm accepting of it, but it's like still every once in a while it kind of goes. I still get that. Oh my god!
Pain.
I still miss him like fucking crazy. But for things like that, it's like he'll live forever.
Yeah, I mean, whenever anyone you love passes, it's that hole never gets filled again, and you're always gonna be sad. Sometimes you just hopefully get less sad as time goes on, and try to remember the good time.
Exactly, and or you try to create science and bring them back to life, because that's what I'm doing.
There's
right
that
now.
as well. Looking forward
story.
Looking forward to Frank and Cal.
Exactly. All right, we have another caller. You're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, it's Haroon calling in from Sacramento, California.
Hey, how are you?
Sacramento.
Hey,
Sacramento representing. What do you have for us today?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say I'm a big fan of Grace and Corruption.
Nice.
Well, sir.
That's right. We haven't really talked about that faction that you're in, that bunch of corruption, bunch of bastards over there. Oh,
That's how we roll.
Yeah,
well,
you
thank
do roll.
You, sir.
Yeah, well, so do you have something for corruption? You want to talk about that? Okay.
No, no, I got something for you, actually.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Yeah. Well, because I know you're one of the
right?
only people who's as passionate about Superman as me.
Yes.
I just want to know, like, if one day before we're dead, they decide to make another Superman movie, like, what type of story would you want to see for that character,
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I have no idea why Warner Brothers hasn't greenlit a Man of Steel 2. I think it's one of those movies that people actually really love. There is a contingent of Man of Steel fans out there, including me. You guys,
of course,
love it. I
Huge
loved when
fans.
he peed in a jar.
Yes,
that was not Man of Steel.
That was Batman v Superman.
I loved when he flew around.
Ooh, that was a safer bet. I should have gone with flown around.
How dare you sully the name of Superman on my show? I don't care who peed in a can or whatever it was.
Superman, one time. Granny's
Superman.
peach juice.
I don't. And dude, to answer your question, I think Warner Brothers looked at Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, and they decided to just put pause on that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do something more with Batman. We're getting Matt Reeves. I don't know what's Man of Steel, if we're going to get a part 2. I don't know if Henry Cavill is going to come back. I think it would be stupid if they didn't bring Henry Cavill back. But I will say this: the story I want. I did a Reilly roundtable with Jason Inman, and we pitched our version, and it was called Man of Tomorrow. We want to do, and it's basically Superman, and the villain is Bizarro, and it plays off of Zack Snyder's movie that the world was a little upset with Superman because of what happened at the end, but then Batman v Superman kind of righted it, and Justice League and all that. So now Superman's back in the good graces. He's the beacon of hope, and then a Superman shows up and starts to just wreck shit. And it looks like Superman, but it's revealed to be Bizarro, which then sets up the third movie, which will have Brainiac, called Last Son. So that is my idea.
So it's like Superman 4, but good.
Superman 4, but good. Yes.
Is Bizarro the Russian Superman?
No,
that's Superman Red Sun.
That's Red Sun. Yeah,
I would want to see that movie.
Me too.
I like an Elseworld kind of thing as well that you can play with it. But the real big question, and to answer your question, actually, I don't have an answer. I don't know what they're doing with Man of Steel, and it kind of sucks for a lot of us Superman fans.
It's literally the only superhero movie that I want a sequel of.
I just remembered a question that I've been meaning to ask you for literally years.
Oh my God.
Why did you name Cal instead of Superman's dog's name that I can't
Crypto?
remember? Yeah, Crypto.
Because I like Kal-El, and I just I liked the name Cal. I think it just worked for me, and I liked just the homage that he's named after Superman. I mean, he's just named after, and I would call him Last Dog of Krypton. So it just I loved Kal-El. And then I also did
he's a super dog.
He was a super dog. But yeah, a lot of people asked.
Sequel.
Yeah, a lot of people, why not Crypto?
Yeah.
And I was like, because he's not Crypto. He's Superman.
Fair enough.
And I also loved when I would take him to the vet to hear people pronounce his full name, which was Kal-El. Because I'd always get Khalil? Khalil? Clell? Cal? You can call him Cal.
You're like, actually, it's Kal-El.
It's Kal-El.
You're like, it's Carol.
Son of Krypton. It's Carol, so
it's
yeah.
like Rat's real name is Adelaide from Guys and Dolls. It's pretty, it's very phonetic. It's like, just sound it out.
Yeah.
And people are like, Adelaide? And I'm like...
And I'm going on with now Leia, because Leia, if you're not a Superman, if you're not a Star Wars fan, I've gotten
Superman,
Leia.
you don't know how to say that.
I bet you get Leia.
I've gotten Leia, and they're like, they pause. They go, Leia? I go, Leia. And they go, oh, it's in Princess. I go, there it is. Yeah. So that's that.
That's annoying.
Thank you very much for the call. I hope that we do get a Superman sequel soon. Man of Steel.
Too.
So.
Starring Cal.
Starring Cal.
Yes.
Oh, that would be great. I love that. So we got another call. I love it. So you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hello.
Hi. Oh my God, we got a lady on the line.
We got 4 ladies.
I won't
here
say
now.
it what Roxy says. Oh, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Kayla.
Kayla.
Hi,
Welcome to the
Kayla.
show. What's your question?
Hi, I've been trying to get on this show for like the last couple of months, and I've been watching you guys since day one, and I finally made it.
Yay! Welcome. We're glad you made it.
Thank you. So with the addition of so many streaming sites in this current 21st century, how would other companies like Dish TV, DirecTV, will look at the competition now since we are getting all of these streaming sites now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think Josh mentioned something that could be true. I mean, I don't know. It's like you can get the cable, you can stick with the cable, and then you can get some of these streaming services, I think. But I think cable especially, I mean, Spectrum lost me. I cut the cord, finally.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to get me back, and they keep sending us like, well, you can get it for this, and you can get this, and you can. I'm like, no, I just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Right.
I'm moving on. I think if people, the cable companies, if they want to keep your business, they're going to have to lower prices, not make it like a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's Spectrum would raise their price out of nowhere, and I'm like, you just lost me.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
I think also the selectability is really important.
Yep.
Like I think the prepackaged days of cable are coming to an end.
Yep.
Like I want to be able to choose which channels are important to me.
Right.
I don't need 17 versions of ESPN.
Right.
I want 17
I need Oxygen and ID, and that's
and
it.
Bravo.
There it
Gotta
is.
have my Bravo.
I need my Food Network.
Yeah.
I do need Food
I
Network.
do like licking the TV.
Yeah, that she likes looking at the TV. So I think it comes down all of this. I don't care what the content is always for me. It's going to come down to price.
Yeah.
I think it really will, because you're going to weigh the versions of, like, if you, like me, Disney Plus, I'm going to need that because of my Star Wars nerddom. I'm going to pay whatever I won't pay whatever they ask. But if they're saying $6.99,
Yeah, I'll pay $9.99 or less.
I'll pay $9.99. I'll pay $12.99. I think
That's
I would.
a bridge too far.
Yeah, I would.
All right,
I
big
would.
spender.
But I'm not going to pay that for Hulu when Hulu,
Yeah.
the one thing they put out that I was like really into was Castle Rock, and then and then
I just want to lick Castle Rock.
Yeah, Castle
I love
Rock.
that show so
I
hard.
didn't
That's
love
when
it
you
as
like
much
the
as
TV.
you.
Yeah.
I got Hulu for that, and it was fine.
But did you get Hulu without commercials?
No.
Oh,
Okay,
see,
because that
it's
shit's
way
life
better.
changing.
Yeah.
Way better.
Like once we like upped it, I was like, okay, bougie.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's nice.
I can understand that.
Oh
So-
God, I loved Castle Rock so hard.
So I think it comes down for me. It's price and then content. What about you guys? Is it price and content, or content then price?
Well, look, I have a wonderful man in my life who has PlayStation View, which means I get to watch all the true crime I want all day, every day. And whatever package he has, all of the packages
So
he
you
has
like
are great.
Ken's package.
I love his package.
I see.
was going there too.
I'm so glad. This
His
is why I want
PlayStation
ladies in the
package
room.
And also
I love the ladies
his
in the room.
wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pack. I like Ken's package too. But,
Ken's package is great.
Look, we can all enjoy Ken's package.
I have Ken's package actually.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah, PlayStation View.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I subscribe to PlayStation View as well, and you are like Julie. Julie loves the true crime
yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
Try not to die.
that works,
100% of the
and it was cutting the cable was real easy because PlayStation View offered basically cable.
Yeah.
For
And
cheap.
I feel hip because now the remote is like a game controller.
I know.
I'm sorry. It's
I'm
like
like-
what?
It's like a game controller.
I see.
You're like, Food Network. Got it. Okay, great.
I'm just like, no, I want more Dateline.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that call, and we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah,
we talked a
good
lot
question.
about this. Yeah, we talked about that streaming stuff with CBS, Viacom. You guys saw that they finally merged. We're gonna get now. We can have crossovers, Mission Impossible TV shows, movies. They can all connect now. Universes.
Hire me.
There it is. Oh yeah, hire Grace.
I want to be
Yes.
the next Tom Cruise. But
I think you can do
but
it.
like 1,200% less creepy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought that was a given, but yeah. I want to be a less creepy Tom Cruise with boobs.
Okay, are you going to hang off of planes? Will you do that?
Absolutely.
I
Would
think
you
you can
hang
do
off a
it.
plane for a movie?
I would do anything for a movie.
Would
Are you
swim
not
with a
scared
shark?
of anything like that?
Yeah,
like,
I'm scared
you'll-
of water, but I think that there's like a world where I could, because when this is like, but like as an actor, I think there's like a level where I could trick my brain into being like, no, this is something separate from myself.
Yeah.
And then I could do it, and then I would need terrible, terrible therapy afterwards.
Okay, I
Or
get it.
great therapy.
But Grace,
depending
I
on-
can see that about you. I remember listening to a Knapsack Files when you went on, and you were like so dedicated to your craft. I was like, Grace has got it figured out. She like really
Yeah.
goes hard on the acting stuff. So
I love
bet
to go
you could.
hard.
Yeah, you love to go hard. That's good.
on
All right.
Ken's package. Anyway.
Oh, Cody, let us know if you have any other calls coming in. We take it. Any calls? Oh, we do.
What is that sound effect?
It's from a documentary. What's the documentary again, Cody?
Oh, so it's a deep dive sound effect.
Something about crack.
Yes,
Crack Street.
it literally is.
I love that
I
documentary.
didn't see Cody.
So Cody's in the booth.
Yeah.
Cody and Alex.
Hi guys. Hi,
He's-
Alex is here too.
Yeah, and
Well,
Alex.
I already said hi to Alex.
Oh.
But yes,
I'll
Cody
say
is
hi
our god.
twice.
And we do have a caller. Hi, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hi, this is Garth from outside Boston, Mass.
All right,
Hello.
outside Boston, Mass. What's your question for us today?
I wanted to ask Grace with the whole corruption versus shower wolves and it's being their final match. Is that going to be bittersweet? I mean, I know you're rooting for your team to win, but wouldn't it be nice to have them win on their final match?
No.
All right. Show enough.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
That is the best answer we've had ever.
Not much
for
of a
any caller.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry, Grace. I
Yeah.
love that you're on the show and sitting next to me, but I'm the Shire Wolves all the way.
You know what, Riley?
And-
we can love different things
and,
and still love each other.
And
I
still
do-
love
We're
Ken's
bonded by
package.
Ken's package.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are
Correct.
bonded by
As
Ken's
we all are.
package
Yes.
has brought
It's
everyone
what
together.
bonds us.
It's what
It's like the one
binds
ring.
the
It's
universe
like the glue.
together.
I mean, I like Ken, but I don't know if I want to be a part of Ken's package.
Oh my God.
What? Get on the
We
Ken's
wanna snuggle
package
with
train.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe we went there. All right. Thank you very much for that call. And with that, we are going to call it a day for Collider Live. I want to
Bye.
thank Alicia Gaynor, Grace Hancock for joining us
Thank you
here
for
on the
having
show,
us.
promoting Grace and Alicia Have Lives, and it drops every Monday morning.
6 a.m.
Okay, where?
Bright and
On
early.
anywhere you can get
Anywhere you
podcasts.
can listen to a podcast.
All right, so please check that out. I also want to thank Dorina. Thank you very much for
Thank you
being
guys,
here. You're going to
and
be.
we will see you tomorrow.
You're going to be back on the show. Cody and Alex in the booth. Josh Macuga for joining us. And Coy Jandreau, he wanted to say to the live chat, what did he want to say? Physical media for life. That was in the live chat, so that was his message to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I'm Mark Reilly. Christian Harloff will be back tomorrow for an all-new Collider Live starting at 10 a.m. PST. Tomorrow. See you then.
Oh, yes, Alex.